The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
the top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another Tuesday night, another Industry of Comics show. This time, episode 101, you guys. And we have something special tonight. We have a really good show for you guys. We have Brian Pulido and Nick Barrucci coming on. We have Filip Sablik joining us to talk about Ignition Press. And we have a new co-host joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sean Hudachko from Comics Elite. Some of you guys might know him, of course, Comics Elite. We've talked about Sean before. We've had him on the show before. He's been here as a guest. And now we're going to bring him on as a semi-regular host here on the show. So I've been trying to get him on the show for a while, and we finally figured it out to get him on here. And he's going to be joining us. I think that he is an excellent retailer in this industry, and he is going to be the youngest of the Iron Chefs here, and he's probably going to take a lot of heat from it.
Wow, I'm not used to being the young guy in the room. This is new.
Yeah. So, but thanks for joining us, Sean.
Yeah, two things I'm going to suggest. Number one, you got to grow a beard. And number two, your header is freaking short, dude. Sean, come on, man. Write something else. Sean the man, Sean the white coat wearer or something.
Well, I thought I was going to be a fake retailer, but Dennis beat me to that one. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not even the only Sean on the Beyond Wednesday network.
No. There's we have.
Hey, by the way, we should start out with the congratulations to the other Sean.
You know what? You're right. And I actually, it's funny that you say that, Dennis, because I have that story sitting right in front of me. For those of you guys that might not have seen it, our boy Big Clutch has announced something pretty special. Let me get rid of all these. Okay, there we go. A lot of messages coming in, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because I got to load it up. 100 messages in there. I have nothing. So,
yeah. Okay. Big Clutch, Sean Kirkham has announced that he is taking up a new position with eBay Live, which is very interesting.
Oh, huge.
Yeah. Big deal.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
maybe you can get me an account.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, for those of you guys that haven't seen it, big congratulations to Clutch, where he says, big life update. Yesterday, I started a new position at eBay as an eBay Live business development manager. I'll be working in the comics and toy categories. I'm very excited to join the team and help grow the eBay Live platform and help sellers grow. Don't worry, Big Clutch Comics is still a thing. I'll still be streaming on the eBay Live platform, and I'll be hanging with the Beyond Wednesdays crew on YouTube every week. So
I bet you this
one of the best moves eBay has ever made.
Amen.
I bet you this means he's not going to be on Whatnot anytime soon.
I wouldn't think so.
Congrats to him, but I mean, I am the only Sean though. There's a scene in a Shaun, but I'm the only Sean.
Yes, there's so many different ways of Sean's. We have Hudachko, Clutch, or Sean Hudachko, Kirkham, Leggett, and Sean Peck for Hell Destroyer. Is there any more Seans? That's 4 Seans. Do we have any more Seans? I think that might be it. 4 of them. So there you go. But
nice.
Yeah, congratulations to these guys, to Big Clutch. That's a big deal, and I agree with Emmett that that's the best move that eBay has ever made. eBay Live Comics division, at least, has ever made, in my opinion. Yeah. So it's pretty sweet.
That's huge.
Yeah. All right. Some very important things that we're going to be talking about tonight, but 101st episode of the show. We had a really great 100th last episode where we kind of like went over, the 100 episodes before it. And there's some guys that have been on the show quite often, quite regularly, that we're going to have on tonight that are the best in the business. And one of the things that I've been waiting for a long time is to have the two guys on together that are coming on tonight, which is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to go over new information about a project that they are working on together that was announced recently at Sworn Fest. Shout out to Sworn Nation. I've seen a lot of Sworn Nation in the chat just hanging out tonight. We appreciate that, you guys. If you've never been here before, give us a sub, throw us a like if you enjoy what you're doing here, or you enjoy what we're doing here. We do this every week on Tuesday night. This is our industry show. We do 3 shows live a week, all about comics and the collectible industry. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And this will be the first night that I have my own Sworn Fest challenge coin. So you guys better fucking have yours. I expect it. I see Jesse looking.
I'm gonna owe you another drink.
I see Jesse looking.
Yeah, I put mine down. Shit.
Right there. I ain't reaching back and getting it.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I showed it last week.
Yeah. Look at that. Lord Zero already dropping super chat money in there. Shout out to my boy Lord Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just dropped a 50 spot. That's amazing. Sean's got his sworn challenge coin. His you know what's funny though? Like, here's the funny part about that. You show that, but they had these wooden ones, almost like wooden nickel challenge coins.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
That Big Leg got Katie, his fiance. So even Katie had one, you know, when anybody tried to pull that on her, she even had one. So she even took part. But it's a pretty interesting thing, and we talked about it last week a little bit. That's a big part in your former world, Sean, the whole challenge coin thing. Did you take part of that pretty heavily in the military?
Oh my God, I have an entire case full of coins. And then you would get them for, I could go on and on. It is a humongous part of the military culture, huge part.
Yeah.
But when I was in, it wasn't big in the Air Force. We really didn't have them. Now it's across all, but it was the Army that started it all. I'm pretty sure.
Actually, you know who I really think started it all? AA with their little 30-day and 60-day
token.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you know,
When I was in the military, I would have never got one past one.
Well, I think the opposite of the
I think
AA.
that's the thing. The military realized they were never going to get one of those coins, so they came up with their own coin.
The opposite of the AA challenge coin is this challenge coin right here, put out this year by this man right here, Brian Pulido.
I am guilty as charged.
Yes, you are.
How you doing, brother?
Faces. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
I think each one of you dudes have warrants out. What's up?
I'm hanging out with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're teaching us bad things.
Swornfest is still wild, but the stuff we did in the 90s was outrageous. That was Fiend Fest in the 90s. We would do these ridiculous things like rent out an entire amusement park. No joke. That's why we went out of business doing crazy shit like that.
How long have you been doing this type of thing? When was the first Fiend Fest?
That's a good question. I don't know, 94, 5, 6, something like that. I'm sure there's some folks who could answer that. But yeah, we yes, on and off through the years. I just got my gander up in 2019 and just saw the new community showing up and threw on our first Fiend Fest, which in a sense capped off that era, I think. And then when it was time to come back and do one post-COVID in 22, kind of looked around and said, look, there is an era of fandom called Fiends, and they are recognized, but the era of the Sworn, this is their era. So hence, but obviously because we're on here talking tonight, Fiends are welcome to, of course.
Yeah.
They're the OGs.
Well, I was talking before you jumped on that one of the things that I was always hoped that would happen on this show is to have two guys who have been on the show quite a bit, but together, and we get to do that tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined by the one, the only Nick Barrucci. Nick, how you doing, brother?
Yo, guys.
It's official, Nick Barrucci. Hell has frozen over.
Yes, it has.
And it feels so good.
And it feels great.
I know it's
Yeah.
pretty cold down here.
Yeah. The pain and suffering I had for a decade talking to you two is over, but well worth it. Congratulations.
Thank you. We got together for you, man.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons you got together, and this is a big deal. This was announced the other week, or at Swornfest. This was announced, which was an amazing thing. You kind of teased it the week before Swornfest here on Wednesday night, and here it is. Chaos United, the Evil Ernie and Lady Death back together. The reprints of all the original Chaos era Evil Ernie stuff is coming. Like this is a major big deal to a lot of fans out there.
It's very exciting.
Yeah,
It is. It's it really does feel so good. It really does. To bring everything back and for Brian and Francisca to be all in, which bluntly to me, the most important part is that they're happy, because if they're happy, the fans will be happy. And creatively, Brian, I mean, he's been a great partner on this.
Thank you.
We spent a good amount of time talking about it last year. We decided to get together and have some photo ops at Big Apple Con. We were trying to be slick. We were trying to, And there's actually one of your guys who does the show with you on Saturday night. I can't remember if he's a police officer or something.
Yeah, John Ramirez, Heroes Reborn. Yeah.
He was there, and Brian was like, "You got to keep this on the down low." And then that night when I got home, he was there showing everything he got from Brian, and I'm like, "Ooh, I hope he doesn't slip up. I really hope."
He didn't. He held it.
Awesome.
He didn't even tell us until after you guys announced it. And, you know, some of the cool stuff, Brian, you were like, I got to talk about that con for a second, because there were some really cool things that you signed at that con that I don't know. Have you ever signed some of the things that you were signing that day? I mean, this was something interesting I saw. I don't know if it was signed that day, but the old comic shop news.
Well, I've signed them, but this gentleman came in with this super high grade collection. It was Evil Ernie 1, Malibu Sun, and they were all graded and all high grade. And he wanted me to sign the outside. And I said, let's go. That day, that Saturday was a lot of fun for a lot of reasons. And, you know, Mike Carbonaro and I go back, believe it or not, to 1974, if you can believe it. And that was my first con in New York in 1974. And the guest that weekend was Steranko. And I had Steranko sign my run of Captain America that I just got as a genius child comic book collector, pre-testosterone. And then the one that we just had was in the New Yorker Hotel. Carbo was putting it on. Steranko was a guest. I got to, get something signed, and I got to be regaled by Steranko's story. And then to cap it off with, Nick and I, after meeting online through Zoom for the better part of 9 months, to kind of cap off what we knew we had planned that night in that really cool steakhouse, was icing in the cake. And I will say, I said this to Nick, there was just a time we're having dinner and we're talking, and it just reminded me very much of the 90s, the energy, the natural charisma. I keep saying this. I think there's a lot to be said about chemistry. You could see it in bands, you could see it in casts and motion pictures. Then same thing with collaborators in comics. And I apologize for going on and on, but that's something I was very present to. And, I keep saying that to Nick. It's like, wow, man, now that we got past a lot of stuff and we are on the same team, what I'm feeling is a lot of warmth. And I definitely, Nick, I completely acknowledge you for, I mean, it was crazy. There came a point where we made our deal, and then we were talking, and we said, okay, what's this going to be? And then Nick, what you said just boggled my mind. You said, whatever you want it to be, as long as it pleases the fans. And I mean, that's super heartwarming, dude, for me. Yeah. So, you know, passion and chemistry mean a lot, and it's great. I mean, I'm just letting you all know that, you know, it could be me, but we're just getting along like a house on fire. And there's just a lovely chemistry that has been reignited that kind of has always been there since the 90s.
I think we talk about that a lot on this channel, about especially this day and age with social media and how fans are able to connect with creators on this different level than they ever have in the past. But one of the things that's very important is to, as a creator, to, you know, share some of this stuff with your fans, because then your fans really see you as genuine and they want to support you as much as they do the IP. And I think that's also a big deal, especially with a lot of people in the industry, you know, seeing you guys, you know, kind of put down your differences, become, you know, coming back together. You guys have this really great friendship rekindled. We're getting to see some amazing fruits of this friendship rekindled, which is amazing. And, you know, more importantly, like you guys said, the fans are getting something really amazing out of this.
That's the most important part. There were a lot of discussions about what can this be? What should it be? Do we do all the volume ones of each of the characters? Where do we do the crossovers? Where do we do everything? And how much merchandise do we want to do? And the thing that it came down to was, first and foremost, it's the comics. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And after multiple discussions, and I think Brian may have made this decision, it was, let's release the characters in full volumes. Evil Ernie has to come first. Because, look, it would have been easy to say, we've got Evil Ernie, we've got Lady Death, we've got Chastity, we've got Purgatory, Lady Demon, and do like separate collections. But with Evil Ernie and Lady Death, just do volume 1, and then have volume 2, 3, and 4 of those that had more stories. But we looked at it, and the decision was, it's 1,500 plus pages of Evil Ernie alone.
Wow.
Let's just do Evil Ernie. He is the foundation. He is the first. And let's plan this where the consumers can have this in bite-sized chunks. One thing that we're going to do is, when it comes to the merchandise, we are going to have merchandise, and we are going to give people options, but the books have to be the most affordable thing. That has to be first and foremost, because without the comics, there's nothing else.
Amen.
So while there will be trading cards, while there will be apparel, and the apparel will probably be high end,
even better.
It's just something that has to make sense. And when we say the fans, were also one of the discussions Brian and I had, and I don't remember who started it. I mean, you know, let me take a step back and say the conversations with Brian and with Francisca are so organic that there are discussions that none of us remember. Well, I don't always remember who started it, but the person who ends it every time is Brian, because he makes the final decision as far as I'm concerned. And one of the decisions we made was, there are retailers today who grew up reading Chaos Comics. We have to have a threshold for them. And it was that tough balance of a decision. How do we reward the fans that are actually buying the Kickstarter? How do we reward the retailers that are a part of this? And I think, and keep in mind, things may change. You never know. But the way we are leaning towards is, there are the Kickstarter exclusive editions for the fans. And then we will have mass market editions that, like 8 months, a year down the line, will offer the direct market. But any retailers that want to support it during the campaign itself, they can buy the mass market editions. We don't. It was that balance of, how do we make it special for the people backing it, but how do we allow retailers to be a part of it? And that was the way, as of right now, we decided to make it work. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you know what? This is going to be fun. There's going to be limited editions of Evil Ernie #1. And Brian posted a video with the original script. And I haven't pitched this to Brian yet, so I'm pitching him now. One thing that I think would be really cool with that original script is putting it in leather.
Oh wow!
And do the like a movie script with leather or with a leather casing.
That'd be fun.
You know what I mean? Because like that's just, we want to do stuff that's cool. There is going to be some stuff that's marquee, and there's going to be some that's going to be affordable. Affordable is all relative to a lot of people, but it's just a matter of, we're not going to be talking about this as much. It's not like we're calling it this. And, you know, I threw this out there and Brian was like, decent, but let's not call it that. We'll make it a tagline. It is officially the 35th anniversary of Evil Ernie this year. So playing that up without saying the 35th anniversary on the trade dress or anywhere. It's just about giving the fans, and you know, the fans, they'll either know and care that it's the 35th anniversary, but the most important thing is that they have this opportunity to just pick everything up. And it's just I'll put it to you like this. This is going to sound weird. This is going to sound a little effeminate. No, it is. I'm being
the judge of that.
We'll be the. I mean, just say no homo first. Yeah, come on.
Listen, Dennis. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. No.
But when I went up there, and we got together, and you know, Brian gave me the hockey jersey to put on, which I thought was fantastic. And that hug was just like hugging your brother that you haven't seen.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Dude, there's nothing feminine about that, man. I love my male friends. I have no apologies about
brotherhood.
that.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the effeminate part. I'm getting there.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
He got a half Woody. That's what he's getting to.
So you guys know that. So I thought that I didn't know what plans Brian and Francisca had. No clue. I went up there to do the video, do the photo shoot, and I was just going to go home. And Brian and Francisca said, you're joining, you know, either do you want to have dinner or you're joining us for dinner, right? And at that moment, it was like I melted. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And I was just glad you guys went upstairs, because I started getting emotional because they were bringing everything upstairs to put everything away. And it was all the good conversations, all the good Zooms, all the emails, everything. Obviously, it was all coming together. We put the fans first. But then to be said, do you want dinner or you're joining us for dinner, right? And I was just like, it's like we haven't skipped a beat. Yeah. It was just I got really emotional, and I was just like, wow. It's more than, while doing it for the fans is the most important part, it was reconnecting with a brother. Yeah. It was totally like,
I agree with
wow. That. You know, like I said, the hug was really great. It was so heartfelt. It was so fantastic. Francisca set it up. It was her idea, and I think we got it on the first take, if I remember correctly. I don't even think we recorded that.
First take.
And it was just natural. The only thing we planned was we're going to run into each other and shake hands, and then it became more than that, and that was just organic. And it's just, I mean, to know that these books are coming out, we have We have our editor and our PR guy on the phone with Jim Kohoric every week, and we're just it's so real. It's so unbelievable, and the joy that I get just knowing this is happening. And again, couldn't do any of this without the fans, and the fact that this is happening and we're planning it out. We're going to do this over 2 or 3 years. We're not doing it all at once. We want the fans to be able to afford it without going crazy. And again, the retailers who grew up on Chaos, and even the retailers that were just retailers when Chaos first came out, there is so much love. It's like, this would be like if I was very fortunate. I got to work with Stanley on a lot. I got to work with Stanley on a whole lot. But this would be like doing something really cool with Marvel and Stan Lee being there from the get-go and deciding how everything was coming together. And I think that's the way fans feel about it, that, even the fans that may, Brian has the closest relationship with the fans, and I'm of the opinion anything Brian says, the fans are going to love. But even if some fans are like a little bit like, oh, I would have done it differently, doesn't matter, because it came from Brian and they know that it's coming from love. Brian has been fantastic.
Thank you.
And
we have a lot of those fans in the chat right now. I mean, Sworn Nation, Sworn Nation is out in full effect.
Right.
A lot of them are asking about what can we expect of the reprintings and the art and the reprintings. Have you talked much about that yet, Brian or Nick?
Nick, do you mind if I take lead?
Go, please. I talk too much as it is.
Nah, it's all good. So we have been hard at work at this for some time. The good news is, at the end of the original Chaos Comics, I did keep a great majority of the files. So we're already ahead of the game in many respects by being able to reprint right from the source. The stuff that we don't have, we are chasing down. And all of the cover art that is in either my possession or where we're able to get scans from Heritage Auction, we've been getting new scans so that when people see the presentation, it's super fresh. So wrap your mind around this. The Chaos Comics library is over 6,250 pages. This will be told over 4 Kickstarters. The first feature will be Evil Ernie. And as Nick had mentioned, there's over 1,500 pages of story. We have never in the history of Chaos ever presented material in this format. And in this gorgeous, phenomenal age of crowdfunding, it's really only people's support that's going to bring this to life. Now, another thing I want to acknowledge Nick and Dynamite for is this is a very, very ambitious project. 6,250 pages, scans of so much material, organizing history-making back matter, interviews, never-before scenes in every single solitary volume, and presented in an oversized format. The printing bill alone is enough to blow your mind. However, we feel for those folks who've been hanging on literally for decades, the only way to present this is in premium format.
Hell yeah.
So that's what you could expect. Now, as Nick says, the spine of our campaigns are the books. And the way we're going to present them to you is going to be super fun and delightful and surprising. But we're also going to have a lot of merch. In this day and age, people love challenge coins, expect challenge coins. People like to get patched up in their patch sets. Yep, we're doing it. Coffin Comics and our original graphic designer from the Chaos Comics era will be working on some of the projects as well, the supplementary material. So this really authentically is a collaboration between the two companies. And we, as Nick said, every week we're meeting. There's a lot to cover. And my personal approach is very immersive. So as Nick knows, I actually reassembled my library. I went over every single page. when does that comic end? Is it a even page? Is it an uneven page? I designed the initial page order for all Evil Ernie volumes and worked with the team at Dynamite to begin to get those in order. So I'm pontificating, but there's a lot. But if you feel that you have every single issue of Chaos and you're satisfied with that, I still encourage people who are on the stream and beyond to consider these volumes, because we are going to have stuff in the back that literally has never been seen. So if people have ever had the chance to see my museum, my archive, I'm a copious collector. And for the first time in many cases, the creative spark and urge for each one of these characters will be presented in the back as well. So I don't know if I over-explained it, but it is, as Nick will say, this is definitely, I'm super duper focused, fan focused. So this is a love letter to everyone who's ever loved Chaos. And here we are. And it's, Nick and Dynamite really are laying the groundwork and providing the conditions that we could just thrive and have a blast doing this.
Right. So the question I have for you is,
to answer Joe Fanboy's question real quick.
Oh yeah.
This is purely Chaos through 2002. It's 1991 to 2002. That's what we're completing right now.
Yeah.
I do want to say one other thing about Brian. When we were talking deal points, Brian was really generous, and he said, okay, so we'll have to figure out the split since I have Lady Death, but you have more characters. And I said, no, that's not the way this is happening. I said, this is like a team up. It's 50-50. We split everything 50-50. You're the face of it. You're the person who's putting this together. We're partners in this, and that's the way we're going to act.
Sure.
Yeah.
So my question is, you talked about the retailers, you talked about the fans. How have your peers and publishers in the industry reacted to you coming together?
I got a few congrats. From a lot of people, not just our peers. Like Heidi McDonald texted me. She texted me like, holy shit, this is really happening. And I said, yes, it's really happening. And she just said, I could not be happier for you guys.
That's really
and
sweet.
There are a lot of people. It was funny. I'm not going to say who, but I think Brian knows. He and I have not had this discussion. About a week or so before the announcement at Swornfest, we're working on another crossover with another publisher, and we were talking about Kickstarters, and he was like, okay, we got to just avoid this at this date. I think it's end of this year or early next year. And I'm like sitting there like, we're on a Zoom, so I'm like, oh yeah, no, we can avoid that. Not a problem. And I'm like, because he's like, we got this big Lady Death crossover, and I'm like, I fully get it, not a problem. And it's like, wow, what a time for him to bring this up. But I've gotten quite a few congrats, quite a few surprises, but everything has been people being happy. Yeah. And like with Heidi, she was happy for us, and she was happy for the fans. And that's the thing that is also heartwarming, that people see that's the kicker here.
Well, let's be honest. This is also good for comics. This is good for the hobby. This is good for the industry.
That's what I was going to say, for sure.
Well, that's why we're having the retailer part as part of the Kickstarter initially, because we want those retailers who we couldn't. Like I said, it was a fine line. We had to support them, but we also had to make sure the fans were the most excited, And look, we've got 4 retailers here, 2 of which handle new books on a regular basis. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think it's going to be good. And I was just curious, what do you think the goal will be for the Kickstarter? Have you guys already figured that out?
It's meaningless. And I only say that like this.
Well, because I wanted to bet whether it's going to be 1 hour or 2 hours before.
Or 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I'm of the mind that it should be $1,991 or $19,910.
$6,666.
That, you know what? Why not? Why not? That works because it's just got to be something cool. I mean, I was thinking the 1991s because of the year Evil Ernie first appeared.
Yeah.
But the 6666 hell froze over. Either way.
Yeah. Hell
Listen,
yeah.
At the end of the day, this will surpass the funding goal. That's not the point. The point is,
with your help out there, it will pass the fund. I take nothing for granted.
Right.
What are you guys joking? Get out of here. We all know that this thing is going to go crazy.
991 will surpass the funding goal.
Right.
You're convincing us to lower it.
You got a whole nation state behind you guys. What are you talking about? We got Sworn Nation behind this.
Right.
Come on now.
Our nation is mighty, and we still we're humble before the comic gods. They are very capricious. So
as a retailer, like I don't really need like a cut rate or anything like that. What I would like is a plaque, not a plaque, but a sign that says that we backed it.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? I like that
as a retailer, so that I can hang that in my store, and then when somebody comes in,
taking notes,
and they go, "Yeah, you're one of those guys." Okay, I know you're okay.
That's a great
idea. We can put that on the pledge level. That'll be.
I need an embossed foil chromium cover to go along with all my other ones.
You need to buy it 2 years from now since you're not carrying new product.
Made in 23 hours is what you need to have, like you did on Swornfest, Jesus, that was amazing to watch.
I'll also say to answer you, Jesse James, all the peers have been really cool about it. Everyone's great. A couple of fans, like, as you know, the thing to know about Sworn Nation is it's mob rules. So, I'm a figurehead, but it's a mob. So everyone's coming at it the way they come at it. So there's a lot of juggling. And I had a couple of real meaningful conversations over the weekend at Sworn Fest. And I think people really understand where I'm coming from and where it's coming from. So I think I think we kind of laid the conditions to sort of like be cool with it and be like, get behind it.
Well, thank you for that $9.99 super chat, Matrix Comics, who just dropped. He says that was my slab that Brian signed at the con, which
it was incredible.
Yeah.
What a collection you have, man! Holy mackerel, that was a blast.
He says, Brian, which Ernie cover hit shops first? The Comic Shop News, Malibu Sun, or Evil Ernie 1? All three have a December 1991 publish date. Thanks, guys.
I think, well, here's the crazy thing. Malibu Sun 6, which had a Reanimator cover, has an Evil Ernie preview in it. So technically, if you're going from that perspective, it might have even beaten like Diamond Previews.
Wow.
And then it would be Malibu Sun 8. But if you want to get crazy, and you will see stuff like this in the back of our omnibus, we're talking about the ad for an artist on Evil Ernie was run in a thing called the Comic Career Newsletter and in Comic Buyer's Guide. And then when Malibu was going to publish Evil Ernie 1 in around September of 91, they ran a beautiful full-page ad. So it kind of depends where you want to go. I think I'm kind of old school. I think Evil Ernie Youth Gone Wild 1 is the first real appearance of Evil Ernie in a narrative format. Right. As far as like Evil Ernie first ever, another thing that you're going to see in the omnibus is like my copious dozens of drawings that I personally used to develop Evil Ernie before I brought on concept artist Eric Miche, who actually worked on Evil Ernie 2 years and in dozens of images before I even began searching for a comic artist. So there's a whole secret history to Evil Ernie, and you will be able to read about it in the back of the omnibus. So for people who are deep track and want to really, really know the story, that's another thing that we're going to do with these omnibus. We're going to give you the real inside, hyper detailed scoop of how each one of these characters came to life.
Shout out to Big Clutch, who just dropped a $20 super chat. He says, congrats, guys. So excited for this. Can't wait for the Beyond Wednesdays exclusive variant cover. Neither can I.
Oh, yeah.
We got to convince them to do it.
If we do that, it's going to have to be on the Kickstarter, though.
Hey,
It's gonna have
whatever
to be
we
on
can
the
do.
Kickstarter.
Hey.
Everybody
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
I want to see an omnibus of all of it.
Yes.
6,200. I just saw. Do you guys see that announcement for Tales of the Crypt? It's going to be something like 1,600 pages. It's insane.
Jesus. I think that this is something that the fact that you're going to throw on all this extra history is probably for me personally, that's my biggest thing that I'm looking forward to. That's the stuff I love, the early history.
I love that too about like collected editions where you get that like absolute Dark Knight, like get the real inside scoop on stuff.
Yeah. And I'm also looking forward to the Smiley Psychotic Button stuff. That's some of my favorite old school stuff.
Yeah.
So
Nick, I don't think I pitched this just yet, but I mean, there might be, you know, we've discussed some other Evil Ernie projects, but I mean, I think a Smiley plush has got to be in our future.
I love it. I love it. I think that's a great idea.
It's just like a slam dunk.
We both pitched one thing. Me, the script with the leather. He's got the plush. I think both are cool. And Sean, did you want to chime in?
Oh, I got something just for you guys. Like, you guys don't need. Here's what I think is awesome about this. You clearly don't need retailers at all to make this a smashing success. Like, you're going to take this to Kickstarter and you're going to crush it. And you guys know that. Just the fact that you are trying to include retailers speaks volumes to your character and your acknowledgement of where everything started and what's still important to the industry. So huge kudos to you guys for that, for sure. Other Kickstarters and other people could definitely learn from your example, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very kind.
Thank you.
I think
Hey,
that's
Nick,
one of the biggest things that we've talked about lately is how can the crowdfunding efforts in the comic world get retailers involved in a bigger way, and that's something to definitely think about. Jesse, go ahead, brother. I apologize.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Nick, you used the word rebellion describing Pulido in the 90s. What word would you use today? Or would it be the same?
He's rock and roll. He doesn't change. He is just the man who can come out and entertain over and over again and for all the right reasons. Look, even before Brian and I reconnected, I remember seeing him talk about it in an interview. And it was probably him talking about it in a video, how the first Kickstarter, he and Francisca didn't know what was going to happen. They were just like, you know, hopefully we'll get funded by the end. And they were funded so quickly. And even then, it wasn't about the money. It was about they still love us and respect us. Because look, Brian, without getting too far into it, Brian went through a lot of shit from 2002 to 2010, 2011, whenever it was, because, you know, from the unfortunate Chaos bankruptcy to CrossGen and that bankruptcy, and then to Boundless Comics, and then finally coming back on his own. That's one hell of a journey.
Amen.
And for somebody to go through all of that and not to come out of it jaded, not to come out of it angry, to come out of it and still say, I'm still charting my own course. I'm still doing everything. I'm still loving this. It, you know, I don't always think whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That ain't the truth. It's something that people say that's nice to hear, but for Brian, that is what happened. And when I saw the success of the First Lady Death, I was like, that is cool. That is really, really cool. And it was just great to see, because you can also feel a relief. You know, you can feel a full relief. Kickstarter, I think to a degree what Kickstarter has become, it's become a little bit less about getting anything funded. It's become more about how do we make it better for the fans. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, we go out there, like we did the Terminator Kickstarter last year, and we did a $25,000 funding goal. And, you know, trying to explain this to fans is a little bit difficult. And I'll try and break it down easily. Our break even on the Terminator Kickstarter was closer to $150,000 because when a Kickstarter is over, you lose 5% to credit cards that don't work, 10% to the platform fee, and then all the other expenses.
Credit
And
card
we did like
processing, survey tool, blah blah blah.
Yep.
exactly. And so, but we always go with a lower funding level because of two reasons. One, it's really about just how do we make this better for the fans? But two, no matter what a Kickstarter does, we're making it. You know, we did $925,000 on the Gargoyles Kickstarter, and our break even was actually $450,000. We put $50,000 as the funding level, but the thing could have made $50,001, and those books were coming out because the second we actually offer something, once it's solicited or once it's on the Kickstarter, it's happening no matter what happens to us. Sometimes some stuff just doesn't click and it doesn't matter. We're still making it. But going back round and round, we need to just keep this about this partnership and chaos. You know, Brian and I were going all in on
Hell yeah, look at that. Let me put this up, Brian. Here you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
I got this. I still fit in it. I got this. I had this like hidden away. This is the first time I've worn an Evil Ernie shirt in 26 years.
Wow.
No joke.
Yeah.
When Nick and I met in New York, that was the first time I wore a Chaos shirt in since before.
Wow.
Let me ask you this. Could you do this? You weren't doing it on Kickstarter?
I'm sorry, you broke up, Jesse.
He said, would we do this if it wasn't on Kickstarter?
Or could you?
I think so. I mean, look, if I'm going to look in my mind and look at the parallel world, I think we would have done this regardless. I think it came to the point where it had to be done. And the fact that it's being done for all the right reasons, like I said, Kickstarter, listen, for a lot of people, it still is about making the item that they're putting on the campaign. For us, it's all about how do we make it better? How do we make it more special? How do we rock this more? You know, and I'll use the Terminator one just one more second, but I want to focus on this. We did like a special casing on the highest end of the Terminator after the fact once we got to $200,000. So once we got past our break even and we were a little bit more profitable, because there's two expenses that do keep going up with the more you print. One is the royalty to the rights holder. Two is the actual printing. But adding in an extra $20,000 to do the metal was absolutely worth it because so many fans bought that high end. We had to reward them.
I got to be honest. I think that's something that fans of Coffin Comics are really into, those type of things. So I think it goes hand in hand with this as well. That's one of the main things.
We will have some thresholds for the highest level people.
Hell yeah!
Again, it's going to be a wide range, and it's just really fun. I mean, look, we've talked about a lot of stuff. The thing that we've got going on right now is the most important, which is to create the foundation of bringing everything back for the fans.
Oh yeah, and
whatever
you guys,
whatever happens after this is just beautiful.
Yeah,
yeah,
fucking A, man.
I can tell you guys, just thumbing through the material, and I haven't, and going back and reliving that. I got to tell, for everyone who hasn't read it in a while, the energy, it still holds up. It's rebellious. It has no apologies. It's brutal. It's funny. So I had a really nice smile on my face going back and reading Evil Ernie. I'm like, the kid really holds up.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Here's another thing that I'll say about Brian, because he was telling me that, I think you said it was your designer who's been with you forever and a day.
Yeah, we same guy since 1992. Yeah, one of my dearest friends of my life.
And everybody you work with that you've been working with since the Kickstarter, same people, same energy, same excitement. You know, the Brian is, and if I'm speaking out of turn, I apologize. But everything I see is Brian is loyal to anybody who's loyal to him.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
It's kind of fair. I mean, like, you know, all the gentlemen here in this stream, it's like, you know, we all know each other a certain way. And, you know, I think if anyone authentically needed to be covered, you know, needed their back covered, I'm there. And I think that's vice versa.
Amen. And that's the reason why
I say that in a way of saying that there are a lot of people in Brian's position that all of a sudden go for the shinier object. Like, you know, who's the bigger letterer, or who's the bigger colorist, or whatever. Instead, Brian's like, this is my team. This is my team.
That's who
we
I
make it work with my team. We are going to do a few things, like bring in some high-profile cover artists to do some special editions as part of it. And
that'll just be fun, though. I mean, that's something we do anyway. Our conversations, we're not naming names, but it's like, wouldn't it be cool if this one did a cover? I mean, we're comic fans at heart, so.
Shout out to Igor, just dropped $100 super chat. He says, being the child of the 90s, seeing this reunion and hearing about this upcoming project, I couldn't be more happier. As I am sure anyone who grew up in the 90s is feeling the same thing as I do. Absolutely can't wait for this project to go live and for many more. Thank you so much, Igor. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We're wrapping it up in April. Just to let everybody know, it'll be in April.
Awesome.
Yeah, late April, we're saying, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
The first one. And again, it's like, I mean, on paper, we're saying every 6 months or thereabouts, because the next one will be Lady Death. Then the next series will be Purgatory Chastity. Then rounding it out will be the Chaos Universe of titles, which is, you know, a bunch of them.
Are you guys going to do a live Zoom opening of the Kickstarter? Watching it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're still in the. I plan to do everything I always do. So I'm letting you all know. It's like we're going to have a party.
Awesome.
It's happening. Everyone get their drink on, whatever you drink or you don't drink. All the shenanigans you're used to. I'm just saying. I'm declaring it's happening.
And I'm going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about that in about a month or 5 weeks once everything's put together and we're like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
That's
celebrate.
when we start thinking about that. You know, for Brian, it's all second nature. So, you know, I want to show one thing that I've kept in my collection for 30 years.
Oh, I like to see that.
All right.
All right. So I've had this. This was a gift. I still have the letter. It came in January 3rd, 1996. Okay. Gonna pull it out of the bag slowly. Take the tape off. Give me a second. Because I am not
the tape off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, make sure you get
I am not
painter's
taking
tape.
any chances. But I think this is going to really freak people out, because once I thought of the leather bound script, I remembered like, ooh, I know what I have in my collection. So, Brian, this you had Kelly Jensen send to me.
Oh, neat.
All right, so I'm going to show the letter first.
Oh, wow.
Hope all is well.
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
New Year. Sorry
Wow.
for the delay. Enjoy the
leather.
leather. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
That is real leather,
sick.
boys. You can smell that thing right now. It's real leather.
Oh,
that's some classic Stigs, too.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you got Steve on there.
Yep. Jensen.
Yeah.
That's my earthquake signature. I love it.
Yep.
That's so good.
30
man.
years this has been in my collection.
I love it.
That's
And
awesome.
you know, when I look through it and just the memories are flooding. I mean, they just flood back in. And it was, and I also remember this last page reminded me of something. You, Francisca, Billy, Debbie, Joey, Jimmy, you guys were thick as thieves.
We were. That's right.
Yep.
We're all thick as thieves. We're all in each other's lives, in each other's business all the time.
You promoted each other. Everything was all about the love. Like I said, like the second I was like, oh, you know, that's a really, really cool script book. We got to do a leather bound edition. I was like, oh shit. Speaking of leather, I know what I have in my collection.
Right.
Yep. That's
You
one
know
of the
the
biggest
greatest-
memories for me about Lady Death. Lady Death and Evil Ernie was the stuff that I got into when I first started going to the comic book store on a regular basis. It was that stuff. And I remember the leather bound Lady Death stuff. I still have a bunch of it. That was my favorite. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is freaking amazing. It looks so
It's real
great with
leather.
those signatures on there.
Yeah.
It was super limited. That's the stuff that, you know, us collectors really love. And I think that's
You
going
know,
to be important.
in my mind, as a young publisher, I certainly didn't have the marketing dollars of the Marvels and the DCs. So I asked myself, how can I compete? And the way I could compete was by being completely outrageous. So that's why I did things like the velvet cover and early adopter of chromium. But man, I got it in my mind that we had to do leather. So we were working with Cubicore at the time, Patrick Jordan, and I had him like go all over Canada trying to source this leather, and I was a maniac about it. They would send it, I would smell it. I'm like, doesn't smell like leather. Yeah, doesn't smell like leather. Until finally we got this stuff, and what we were producing was very, very expensive. But believe it or not, that book that you're holding, Nick, was an incentive edition. If you ordered just 50 copies of the regular edition, you got one of those free.
I did not remember that. I do remember. It does say limited to 10,000.
Yeah.
Very limited back then.
Back then,
Yeah, that was
But
In
you
the
know what?
90s, that was low print run.
Yeah,
It
listen,
was.
we
It
talked
really,
about
really
that a
was.
lot. Even though it was 10,000 copies, those 10,000 copies, you never see those books because they go into
don't.
collections and they never
They
leave.
never come out.
Nope.
Nope. You have to wait for people to die.
Yep. Yep. That's 100%.
You know what the greatest thing about tonight is? These two guys smiling. I think that's what I'm taking away from this. You guys are just having fun, and I think that's very, very important to us that have followed you for decades.
Well,
Our first Zoom when Francisca came in was like the gang's all here, you know? That was just the gang's all here. And like I said, man, I got really emotional at Big Apple Con when I got invited to dinner. I was just like, I was really grateful that they said, we got to go bring everything to the room. I was like, good, because if I cry, I don't want them to see it. And it was such a nice dinner. And
It was a great dinner.
You didn't have corn dogs, right?
Well, don't tell anybody. I had a half a dozen corn dogs that night.
He did not.
I think we all had the New York strip. It was phenomenal. I remember it now.
In New York, that's so cliche.
Oh man, it's my favorite cut. It's great. Oh, you're right. We were living the cliche.
It was like the basement. It was like a bank. It had a bank vault on the side and
Literally.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Good
this.
times.
Yeah, look at all the goodies, right? Look at all that.
Yep.
So
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, that was a good night.
that's
I
important.
definitely remember that. The energy of having those fun conversations about comics as a whole. Yeah, Jesse James, I can tell you for sure that the project itself, it's really just coming from love and fun. And if the conditions are ripe, it's like you could have fun. And on paper, it is radically ambitious because just like the artist editions from IDW and others, we do have to pull material together that hasn't been together in ages, and that's something that we've been working on. And I could tell you an exclusive that I haven't told Nick, but I've been very excited to say is that in my conversations with our graphic designer over the weekend, he said he might have even more of the original material on CD format because it was the original working files he used. Because when the bankruptcy was going to happen, we actually then made duplicates for the bankruptcy itself, and I did keep copies, but the copies that I kept were not complete. They were kind of, it was under duress, right? So he is going to be sniffing through. He doesn't know it's been in the attic, but we're talking about how comics were originally stored at one time, in these like little weird, not even normal drives, like CDs and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to sniff around, and we'll know in about a week if we even have more access.
Well, if anybody out there is watching
when you need
this,
a zip drive. Call me when you need a zip drive.
All right, thanks.
If anybody out there is watching this that has any of that stuff that might be able to help Brian and Nick and the guys get this, this amazing art at its finest resolution and figure this stuff out, reach out to them and make it happen, because this
Heritage
is
Auction has been phenomenal to us, getting us scans. We have.
Speaking of corn dogs, so somebody else bought corn dogs. What am I missing on the corn dog?
Oh, okay. I was at the Arizona State Fair about 25 years ago. And I like to eat obscure food. So I'm probably eating like a chocolate covered cricket or whatever the hell. And I looked over and I saw a corn dog. Now, of course, we all know what a corn dog is, but I was there with some friends and I'm like, I never had a corn dog. I said, and come to think of it, I don't think I'm going to have a corn dog. And they go, why? And I said, I have no idea why this happened. This happened spontaneously. It was like, tell you what, my life has to mean something. So my life is going to stand for never having a corn dog. I'm putting it in my will. And it said, Brian Pulido, from here to there, he never had a corn dog. So that's kind of the start of it. So it just became a running joke.
All right. So I'll say this. Somebody said at $666,666 you need a corn dog.
No. I would consider it.
Consider it. There
I'll
we
say
go.
this. I'll say this. If we get to, and there's two parts to this, okay? If we get to 6,666,666, and Brian needs a corn dog, I will donate 10% of our share of the profits to charity.
There we go. Listen to
Oh,
that.
match it.
I won't eat another corn dog.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'll donate to charity. We'll pick a few good charities.
Nick will take up the saga.
If we hit that number, I will create a pile of corn dogs that will reach into the sky. I will set it on fire. I will be at the top, and I will eat a dozen corn dogs. If we match or go beyond $6,666,660.66. You've heard my.
There you go.
Clip it.
Clip it.
And I will stop Brian from doing that because I don't want him on the top of a
corn dog pile. Hey, listen, you guys are amazing.
I tell you what I will do is have a second corn dog.
Okay. All right. You guys,
Brian doesn't do that.
You guys are unreal. I messed up and told these guys an hour early, and they were waiting for us an hour early, and they still came back and hung out with us for 45, 50 minutes. You guys are the best. I can't thank you, both of you guys enough. Both of you have been supporters of Beyond Wednesday since the start, and I'm super excited that both of you guys are on here tonight in the situation you're in, and I can't wait to see more from this rekindling of this friendship, man. I'm happy.
Right. A few people, a few news sites have asked to do double interviews, and I can't remember. It's all within the last 10 days. It's all been since Swornfest, and I think we've only spoken once since Swornfest, but I can't remember, maybe twice.
Yeah. And
we were just so in the middle of trying to figure some stuff out. I've just said to people like, hey, let's save it for when the Kickstarter launches. Just keeping it like, that's when it's important. I'll put it to you like this, and this is very simple. It was so easy to agree to do this first with you and everybody here on Beyond Wednesdays for the same reason. The passion that you guys bring to the industry, the passion that you guys bring to the fans, and how meaningful this is. And getting that text from Jesse, talk about the text that you got. Another one that just melted my heart, where he was just like, it's great to see my two friends together again.
Amen.
Like, it was just fantastic. And it's just, like I said, you guys make it so friggin' easy to come here and tell the world stuff, especially something like this.
Amen,
because
man.
I also know how much it means to you guys,
Hell yeah. Hell
and,
yeah.
and I mean, to you and obviously, Jesse, who's known us the longest, so, and I want to thank the Beyond Wednesday audience, because none of this, absolutely positively, and forgive me if I misspeak, but the success that Brian and everybody has, none of this could be done without you guys.
I know who the boss is, man. I always have. It's not the gatekeepers. It's not the experts. It's not the Twitter crowd. It's the people who pay my check, man. I know who it is. It's the fans. And one of the many reasons I love coming on, speaking with you guys on this show, is you each think differently. You approach the problem in your own way. I have great admiration for that. No group think here. I love that. So I always love coming here. Even if it's a tough convo, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, you guys, and we'll talk to you when the Kickstarter starts, and we'll bug you then.
Absolutely.
So
hell has frozen over. It's official.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much, Nick, Brian. Thank you.
Really
we'll see you guys soon. Adios.
Take care. I'll let you later. Yep. Thank you.
Oh, Music Pub.
Wow. 50.
Music Pub just dropped 50 subs or 50 memberships, you guys. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Music Pub.
Yep.
You guys are amazing. Like, the amount of support for the channel lately has been greater than ever. I was talking to Jesse today, and we were talking about how, just everything on the channel has really ramped up. It's been amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough for supporting this channel. This shows me, your guys' support shows us that what we're doing is working, and what we're doing is what you guys want. So it's awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. That was pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to this. I think this is a perfect place for it to start, and we'll see how it plays out.
I think, for me personally, for the last 10 years, talking to both these gentlemen till 2-3 o'clock every morning, and 3 days a week, 4 days a week, but sometimes Nick will call me and then Brian will call me afterwards, and I would have to completely forget about my conversation because of that separation between the two. Now I can have a conference call with them. That's like awesome. My life has changed tonight. So good job, guys.
Yeah.
Well, and I said it a year ago. I think it was a year ago when Marvel and DC announced that they were doing another team up. And it goes along with, obviously my narrative of, as the industry starts to slow down and chill, all of a sudden you start asking yourself, wait a second, why are we not working with those other people? Maybe we should start working with other people that we said we wouldn't, so that we can make good things for the fans. And I mean, I think Batman Deadpool proved to the industry, like, oh yeah, you guys left that money on the table for 10 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure even at a micro level with Brian and Nikki, it's like, why are we leaving the Evil Ernie money on the table? Okay, yeah, I think maybe we should pick that money off the table and give something the fans want.
Yeah, especially.
I've noticed that in a lot of areas, like in the retailer world too, people that would never ever work together are working together. These guys, perfect example. These guys are working together. Marvel and DC are doing crossovers. Look at the DC All In they just did. They have characters from how many different properties in there?
How many different publishers?
A lot of image books. Yeah, a lot of image books to Marvel.
Who would have thought we would have saw the character from Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees, Red Sonja and Vampirella, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Homelander in the same comic book issue? That's crazy.
Yeah. I think part of that is also, well, we've seen it throughout this last couple of years, right? With the first time I remember seeing something where I was like, oh, I never thought I would see that, is when Battle Beast did the reprinting of the team up issue which was very surprising that, you know, Marvel gave him the okay to do that. That doesn't happen without Robert
Well,
Kirkman.
it's not just that. It's the fact that Kirkman said, I will never work with Marvel again. And then gets a hold of Marvel so that he can reprint that issue.
Yep. So, you know, you
nice
get
to see,
older and
especially-
you get older and it changes, you know, as you
Yeah.
get older and, you know, things changes. And that's why nothing in this world is black and white. There's always nuance. There's always gray. There's situations. It's always about the situation. And, you know, it's good to see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and you know, not especially in a time when, you know, we seem like we're more divided every day when it comes to countries and politics and that kind of stuff. If anything, to see the comic book industry coming more together and less
It'll lead the
divided.
way.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really
Well,
is.
it used to, right? That's what how it used to be. You know, comics has always
100%.
been at least not always, at least since from the 70s and the 60s and that type of shit. You know, there's books behind me, you know, that show that the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil Green Lantern run, that type of shit, which is very interesting. We have a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about tonight in the news cycle. Some of the things that we're going to get into at the latter half of the show is going to be talking about IDW has some things that they've announced. They had a rough year, and they're having to change things up a little bit. Yeah, rough decade. You're right. So we're going to talk about that. Distillery is in the news lately for the same reason. Diamond.
Hold on, Brian. Shocked face.
Yeah. Distillery or not? Diamond Comics. The new Diamond Comics has in some news, which is basically, what do we call them? The cubic zirconia. They're not diamond. They're cubic zirconia. So they're in the
not
news.
doing comics anymore.
Yeah. But it's very.
They're pretty much
interesting.
just toys now.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. That was something that I think what we all foresaw when that whole thing was first going down. Even when AENT was involved, we were like, maybe they're just coming in here to buy their toy properties, and they don't care about the comic stuff. So, but we'll see. Of course, you have such big changes in the world of distribution that, of course, you know, IDW and Distillery and other publishers are going to face issues. Even Nick at Dynamite, who talked about, you know, having to deal with all that. And you just get up the next day and make sure you figure out how to change things and how to do it better, and, you know, pivot as you guys say, right?
Yep. Well, I think, yeah. Go ahead, Emmett. Go ahead.
Distillery, I think, coming into, it's a literary market, but it's a collectible literary market. And to come in with a book size that doesn't have a way to protect it, there's no bags on the market for it, there's no boards on the market for it, and just kind of thumb their nose, I think it was a horrible start.
Right. I think.
Well, it's the hubris. Do you want to go, Jesse?
Yeah, I was just going to say, using the word boutique in your promo for a comic book does not mean making a book bigger so it looks bigger on the shelf. It means make it unique inside so people will buy it, which should have been the more important part. And I think when you stick yourself out like that and you put yourself, the retailer, in a bad position on just positioning on an A shelf or a B shelf, that's a challenge for retailers. We don't have time for that.
How do you start a company with probably 5 of the top 20? You know, they could be even in the top 10 writers, and nobody's talking about any of the books, the stories of any of the books. And there's some of my favorite guys. Like, no shade on them. It's just I don't know how none of that rose to a level where somebody went, oh, but you got to read this, right? Where it forced people to buy the bigger book.
Right.
Like, you really had to hit a home run with everything that they put against it. And then they doubled down with buy it online as an almost like an NFT. We're going to digitally sign your copy So you own the digitally signed copy on the internet. So now what happens to your digitally signed copy if Distillery goes bust and is gone?
Poof.
Right.
It's just as worthless as it was when it first came out.
It was the hubris of the guys at the top of Distillery that retailer after retailer said, "Can you do a small floppy size comic?" And they just said, "No. This is the wave of the future." The hubris that they thought they knew everything, and little by little it kept chipping away, and they refused to acquiesce to the fact that it wasn't gaining the traction that they should have had.
Yeah.
And it's those same guys. It's those guys, those middlemen guys that convince somebody to come to their thinking and then refuse to change their thinking.
Well, what's interesting about this whole thing is, they had this big creator push when they first started, right? And the creators are what kept them going. There was times where, if I'm not mistaken, they were having issues where they weren't paying their creators, and a bunch of creators,
a lot of them.
Yeah. And the creators even said, you know what, even though this is happening, we're still going to stick behind this. We're going to still try to make it work. But just recently, they paused its entire publishing slate, like without even contacting a lot of the creators. The creators didn't even they found out through shows like us.
Cool.
Yeah. Bleeding Cool. Yeah.
And they have a book on solicitation.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know why this happens? Because here's what happens. When you have to print so many books to hit a certain threshold in order to get your printing costs cheap enough to be able to go through the direct market, it's a domino effect. Well, when there's no money, you can't pay your printer. Guess what happens? You pause publishing. That's what happens.
So you can't make any money.
I don't guarantee. I don't know shit, right? I think my speculation would be that they can't pay their printing bills. So they got to regroup, pay their printing bills, and they can go back to getting printed again.
And they chose the wrong distributor. Didn't they leave Lunar to go with Diamond in 2024?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they had to go back to Penguin.
And
the notion is
idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. And the notion is that, listen, retailers are the one that pays your bills. And if they're not ordering on FOC, there you go.
Well, and that's the problem. You're not ordering, so you can't get your printing costs low enough to make sense.
Exactly.
Or you have to overprint stuff that isn't selling. So, and that's the problem of, I mean, learn your lesson from DC. There's a reason why they stopped doing those black label oversized books, because everybody screamed up and down that they hated them. But then
like in 3 months,
and they had some of the most viral cover arts, the Batwang, all of that, and that still could not move that format into something that the consumer wanted en masse.
Some of those comics were beautiful that were done, and I loved them. But the general public, they don't fit into your short box. You got to buy weird size boards and bags. They don't fit on the shelves very well. There's all kinds of problems with it. And then they decided to do that as their format. And here's a problem when you get a writer-centered publishing thing like that too, is the art may tend to take a backseat. That's what sells initially, is the cover art, right?
Yeah.
Well,
covers art, commercial art for the literary and art in the inside.
Well, I want to segue that into one of the publishers that I think is a new publisher that's doing it right. I think
No. I want to segue into the big announcement from one of the #1 artists on what Sean just said.
Well, we got our guest. Our guest is back here. So do you want to wait?
I can't see backstage.
I know. No. Yeah. I'm trying to let you know. So,
all right.
One of the guys one of the new publishers out there that we've really fallen in love with, and that we think has been doing such a great job, of course, Ignition Press. We've had this guy, Mr. Filip Sablik, joins us. He's been on the show multiple times. One of our favorite people in the industry, and thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Hey guys, good to see you.
How you doing?
Are you using a different laptop? Because you are not as 4K as you usually are, Philip.
It's the same. It's the same laptop.
You're
think.
Perfect. That's just Dennis's crap.
No, normally you are like super high def when you come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
it's a piece of
toning it
background
down. You're
versus
getting
the
a soft
Yeah.
filter. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Philip, we can't not start with you here and talk about probably one of the biggest things in comics right now, and that is one of your properties on TV in Beauty. And how many people are saying how good it is. Everybody on all the channel watches it, saying it's been great. A lot of talk about it. It's been one of the very positive things in the comic world as of late to see kind of jump over into the small screen / big screen and actually work well so far. So congratulations on that. That's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah, we're super excited, and it's there's always a lot of anticipation leading into it, and anybody that's created something that's entertainment, everybody goes into it trying to make the best thing possible, and one thing you're not in control of is how the market responds to it. So it's been really exciting just to see folks get into it, both within the comic space and then from outside of it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite articles that I saw pop up last week that got shared with me was a parent's guide to the Beauty, and basically the headline said, "Don't let your children watch the Beauty." And I sent my wife a text. I was like, "Whoops, sorry, honey. Guess my 14-year-old has been watching it with me, and I don't." My wife texted me back, and she's like, "Should we be more concerned that she does or doesn't have much of a reaction to the level of like?"
Right, there you go.
She's seen worse in video games.
Speaking of reaction, you've done this long enough. You know this industry. How does it feel coming on next after you saw a interview with Brian and Nick on the same interview?
I mean, those guys are good friends, and I mean, in many ways, mentors to me. They were kind of the generation ahead of me. So, Nick Barrucci is one of the guys that when I first started at Diamond, really took me under his wing and helped me really understand the industry and supported me. And Brian, both of those guys actually were publishers that I worked with at Diamond when I was in the purchasing department. They were accounts of mine. And so I was, working with Brian up until the end of Chaos Comics, and then more recently reunited. I mean, Brian was one of the first people that, Ross and I called when we were first considering moving into Kickstarter and playing in that arena, because we knew he was one of the smartest people we could talk to that would be able to understand it. And he was, as he always is, Brian's just incredibly generous with his time and his knowledge. And so I think without, I think Berserker would have been successful, but it wouldn't have been as successful without that insight from Brian about how you engage with the community, how you take care of them. I've been watching just like everybody else to see what this, collab was going to be. I'm excited to see them kicking off with this, and I hope it leads to more.
Amen. One of the things that we were talking about in one of our group messages is people talking about the back issues in the secondary market on Beauty. And as a matter of fact, Dennis had this walk into his store the other day, if I'm not mistaken. No, not this one.
No. You misread it. I've been hoarding this for 10 years.
Wow.
Because I knew that Beauty was something that once it caught fire was going to kind of blow a lot of the other spec away.
Yeah.
So just what you're looking at there is all 4 of the issue 1 cover A, B, and C plus the incentive, Philip.
Yep.
And then the secret variant was only purchasable by Jeff,
directly from Jeremy.
Jeremy
Hahn,
and who's the other
Jason.
Jason.
Yeah.
And they had a convention appearance where I bought, I think, 5 of these and gave them to the girls that work for me that made Beauty the success that it was in my store. And I held on to one, and it's actually sealed. I don't even know what it looks like.
And I have to give Dennis props, because all these years later, he adhered to the pledge he made, which is when you purchase a secret variant from Jeremy, you have to pledge to never show it online.
Yes.
So love seeing it in the paper bag, because that's how it was originally sold. Yeah, that's an OG blind bag.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
Hell
there you
yeah,
go.
man. That's the fun part, right?
I think there's only 100 of those, correct?
I actually don't know off the top of my head. I know that he always did them very limited. It may not have been that limited. What I can say is I know for Murder Podcast, we limited it to 666 copies because Jeremy's that guy.
Yeah.
But I don't, going back 10 years ago, he may have been doing smaller.
Ask him next time you talk to him.
I think that's kind of interesting, because that's one of the things where I want to jump into real quick is, you guys already have a head start in the world of like good storytelling. You have the option angle with, the option inroads and good stories, maybe moving into TV and movie stuff. But one of the things that we've really loved about what you guys are doing over at Ignition is you also keep your eye on the collectability, and that comics are collectible. I'm gonna always talk about it because I think it's one of the coolest things. You guys number each book individually, which is fantastic. It's one of my favorite parts about what you guys do. Not only does it, there's this weird trust issues, I think, in comics or in the world of comics right now, and it helps with that, as well as it makes it also fun to like collect certain numbers. If you collect certain numbers, it also tells people, hey, we talk a lot about quantity and rarity, and how that really can help depending on how you play it and in that world. And you guys kind of do that. You've done that with some really interesting books. Your cold open books have been great, which is a perfect idea to do that. But talk about keeping that eye on the collectible part of comic books as well.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, we recognized, and we love the fact that comics are collectible. It's I think the first time I came on to talk with you guys about Ignition, one of the things we recognize is that it's part of the appeal of single issues is that collectability, right? And so, yes, we want to grow the readership. Yes, we want as many people enjoying the stories as possible. But you can't. I think if you are going to be a single issue publisher, you have to embrace that collector audience, because in many cases, they're the ones that are the tastemakers as well, right? They're kind of telling folks like, hey, this is something you should check out over here. It creates a heat index. And the thing that we tried to address was, over the last 10 years, I think the collectability kind of getting lost in some of that short-term speculation and flipping. And how do we, incentivize long-term collectors? How do we incentivize people to collect the A covers, and so what we came up with was this serial number concept on each of the books. So literally every single Ignition Press comic book that you buy has a unique serial number that's tied to that cover, right? So if we print, 10,000 copies of cover A, the numbers run from 1 through a little over 10,000. And the reason it goes a little over, and we're always very transparent about this, even on our website when people buy, is because there is spoilage on the line, right? So in other words, in order to get 10,000 clean copies, because you have to run it through a second printing process to get that serial number on there, we might need to print 10,050 or 10,100, something like that. And then the spoilage comes off. And the other reason we need the spoilage is because it is randomized, right? So part of what we wanted to do to short circuit that kind of like gaming of the system is that literally the printer gets a random set of numbers in a random sequence. They print those numbers in order. And so there's no way for them to be able to, if they notice there's a problem on the line, to stop it and know like, oh, okay, we have to, reprint numbers 100 through 125 because they're already randomized. So when I say like it's completely random, me and my team have no idea what copies we're going to get when we get our comp copies. So one of the fun things that happens is every single week when the comps arrive, everybody pops open their envelopes and goes like, okay, what'd you get? Who got the lowest number?
Yep.
Did anybody get a number that was special to them? And
Yep.
Brian, I think when we were in San Diego, you were one of the first people to go like, people are going to be chasing not just the low numbers. They're going to be chasing, their
last
favorite
number. Sure. Their favorite number.
Last number, 420, 666.
Yep.
Yep.
The
67.
birthday. Yeah.
69.
69. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what was funny?
And I think
What was so funny is we even saw that happen because at one of the events that you had at San Diego, you were giving away the cold open for Beauty and Voyeur, and in the Ascan editions, which was classic.
Mhm.
And we were walking up to get them, and there were stacks of them, and I grabbed one, and mine was like 420 or not 20, 434 or something like that at 0434. And then Stein picked up his next, Ben Steiniger from the House of Stein, and he got number one of the run. So that is a perfect example of it, of being random. You don't know which numbers are going to be in there. And that was fantastic. That was such a fun part of that event for that to happen. And that happens with every issue you guys print, new issue you guys print, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and if somebody wanted to, they can get a sense of what the print runs are because the numbers are right there on the back, right? So if it's a limited run of 500, or let's say it's an incentive cover where there's fewer copies out there, those numbers that are available out there are going to be lower.
Well, let's talk about that too, because you guys have started doing this cool thing, and you did it recently with a good friend of ours who we talked about on the show, Big Clutch. Shout out to Dan Creary, who was on with us a few shows back. He's going to try to jump on us with us again this upcoming Saturday. You guys did this really cool thing with Big Clutch where you had the cold open for Ripcord, the new Cullen Bunn series, and you did a variant limited to 500 that Clutch had during his live sales. He had a few on his website, which was super, super cool to see this happen with these variants that you're creating. And again, boom, you're making this cool collectible thing out of these ash cans / cold opens, giving some excitement around them. And I talk about that 500 print count number. I think it's so much more special than people realize. And the way I put this is, we talk about some of the old school books, like the Lady Death book that Nikki showed tonight, having a 10,000 print run, limited to 10,000 print run. That was a lot. That's a lot of books. Nowadays, we look at it, that's probably like the 1,000 number, and 1,000 is rare. But when you get down to 500 or less, that's super rare. And I think people, need to realize that like this 500 or less number is a big deal for rarity and collectability in a floppy comic.
Yeah, and it's possible to do less. I mean, I know Sean does a lot in this space, and it's certainly possible to do lower runs. We settled on 500 for our exclusives because we were like, you know what, we're not doing that many covers, right? So if that's the only one that's limited, it felt like a good number, and we'll continue to play around with it. I think, the most important thing is listening to the community, and if they're excited about it and that quantity, terrific. And if not, maybe we'll adjust it. But, part of it is also just the printer we work with, the volume that, we're doing with them. It kind of makes sense at that 500 number. And that one that you pulled up, the Ripcord Cold Open that we did with Big Clutch, which we're really excited to partner with him to do that. We dropped 50 of the limited edition, which is limited to 500. On that one, it was the first time that we limited the actual print run to a straight 500. So if there was spoilage on the line, those copies just never make it into circulation. And the other thing that we did is we actually printed, let's say it's 010, we put a slash and then 500 so people could see, that the print run is 500.
That's great.
So that's something else we're continuing to experiment with. But yeah, the idea really, hopefully, is that it adds a little bit of fun and a little bit of kind of, surprise when you're getting your copy in the mail, or if you're picking it up at the store, and you're grabbing a copy off the shelf. without creating an environment where, somebody can kind of corner the market on that and then drive or set the price that way.
Yeah.
We really wanted it to be set by like a genuine market demand as opposed to, artificial means.
Well, here's something special for everybody that's watching right now. There's 120 of you live in the chat, and I haven't announced this really anywhere, but for live viewers of Beyond Wednesday right now, you guys can go to this link that I'm about to drop in the chat. These are available for you right now. There is 500 copies of this new cold open for Just Brutal, a new series you guys got coming out that we're going to talk about in a second. It is available for you guys right now with the link I just dropped. If you use code word BW20, and I'll put it in the chat correctly, you can get 20% off of this book. And here's the cool thing. $8. It's a $10 book. You use Beyond Wednesday's BW20, and it turns it into an $8 book, limited to 500 copies. You guys, that's a big deal. So take advantage of it. It'll be available till midnight tonight. This link and this code. So for those of you guys that are going to catch us on the replay, if you catch it before midnight tonight, you could use it. If not, come hang out with us Wednesday night, okay? And we might have something special for you. But here's a perfect example of it. This is super cool. And it's a new series that just came out. Dennis, it's coming out tomorrow. Dennis Hopeless is writing. Emmett, me and Emmett were talking about it before the show. Sounds very interesting. We both kind of checked it out. I checked it out a little bit right before the show.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about this series, Philip?
Yeah. So to start off with, Just Brutal is written by Dennis Hopeless. This is a project that's been gestating for him for many years. Actually, the first time that I think he pitched it was when our editor-in-chief, Jamie, was at Vertigo, and they were trying to get it up and off the ground at that point. The artist is Bram Revels. Most folks probably know him from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love his Gorillas series over at Oni and Image many, many years ago. And then Bram also lettered it, and Marissa Louise colored it. So the idea here is for anybody who's a fan of the 80s, imagine that you took the family drama and comedy of Mitchells versus the Machines, and you smashed it with Masters of the Universe. So the idea in the series is that you have this family, the Savages, and they're two kids, twins, 16 years old, that think their parents are boring and normal, and except for the fact that they're getting divorced and not speaking to each other. And what they don't know is that mom and dad are actually 3,000-year-old immortal warriors, kind of a He-Man barbarian type and a sorceress. Right? Yeah. And 3,000 years ago, they vanquished their arch enemy, Farkless the Fleshless, Farkler the Fleshless, and kind of banished him from this plane of existence. And the byproduct is they became immortal. And so they just kind of settled down and started to live a normal life until the arch enemy pops back up in Des Moines and threatens to end existence and plunge it into black magic Armageddon.
There's a lot of black magic in Des Moines.
Yeah, exactly. And so the family has to pile into the minivan and go try to, save the world. And the cold open, for folks watching that aren't familiar with the cold open, is exactly what it sounds like. It's like the cold open to a movie. Most famous example are the James Bond films, right? You have this kind of scene that establishes the world and the main character and sets up the stakes in a very self-contained story. So the cold open is a self-contained story. It has, you've been showing off some of the interior pages. It essentially shows you what happens in Des Moines at the state fair at the beginning, kind of the inciting incident. And then after the short story, there's a bunch of designs and stuff like that. I don't know if
oh yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
So we've got Brahms character designs, we've got monster designs back here.
Perfect.
And then really one of the main things we try to do with the cold opens is just educate and lead people into different places they can pick up comic books. Comic shops, obviously, first and foremost, but then other channels if that's not available to them. So yeah, this is something we're super stoked on, and I think the entire Beyond Wednesdays crew, all you guys have been so incredibly supportive of what we've been building. We thought it would be fun to debut the cold open here, give the folks that are watching that discount and a chance to get it first before anyone else. And I wasn't kidding, by the way, when I said it's numbered exactly to 500, because my copy of the B cover, this exclusive, is blank because we didn't want to waste any of the numbers on the team.
Nice. Nice.
Which makes it even rarer.
Yes.
That's the one everybody wants now.
Yeah.
Well, I have also said publicly, and I'll say it again here, my birthday is December 15th. So if anybody pulls 1215 on any Ignition book, I will buy it from you.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. They're perfect example.
$1 million.
I love the nostalgia. The skateboard stuff immediately grabbed me, and I'm an '80s kid. Grew up in the '80s and early '90s, and this is the nostalgia to me that just grabs me. So I'm looking forward to this. There's actually quite a few books that we've been talking about lately, and Emmett was talking about a book before the show, this No Place, which he really liked.
Is this going to be ongoing?
So the current storyline ends with issue 5. So it'll be a complete storyline on that front. And then we're talking to Tim and Stefano about what might come next. So nothing determined yet.
Should get behind. This is a really, really good book with a lot of legs. The sales might not be like that now. I think it just needs people to find it, and sometimes comics need a little time to be found. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of places to go, and it's been really, really good, really well written. I think the art is very complimentary to the story. Yeah, I actually think it's the best book in your lineup.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks, Emmett. I'll make sure to pass that along. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree. One of the things that we've been doing as we build these series is we do have varying lengths, right? So there's some that are 5 or 6 issues. There are others that are effectively ongoings. We launched The Beauty as an ongoing. Bloodland, which just launched in September, is a long form story. So is Arcadia. And the other thing that we've been doing is we've been overprinting all of our books. It's been one of the funniest things as we talk to retail partners is we're like, you can reorder those books, because they're like, oh, now people are starting to find them. We're like, yeah, number 1's available, number 2's available, number 3's available. Yep. So and
I'll be putting an order in.
There we go.
You're not at Lunar, so they don't end up on Discount Comic Book Service. That's what I'm fun.
Yeah. I need to get a little drum hit.
Get one in every show.
Yeah. I watched the show enough to know that song. But look, what I will say is I don't actually believe that to be true. But what I do know to be true is that because space is finite and Lunar's growing rapidly, one of the reasons that we did decide to go with PRH was because we knew that the default policy with Lunar was that after a certain period of time, single issues are essentially, you have to liquidate them or get rid of them. And we knew that it was going to take, first of all, we're on a 6-week release schedule to allow retailers to FOC with sales data. So we knew that that timeline, it might be issue 3 or 4 before someone knows, oh, you know what, this is a series I want to invest in. This is something that I want to get behind. And I think, we're seeing it with the Absolute universe. The DC just did that massive announcement of all those reprints, and they're keeping the single issues in print, even though there are trades out, right? Because they're different audiences, right? They're different entry points. Yep. So I think that's something that we instinctively felt like we needed to be in a place where we could overprint, make sure people found the audience. And it seems to be paying off. I actually, we had orders go up on The Beauty number 4 from issue 3, which is very unusual. That I looked at, I went, okay, that's probably the TV show. But We just got orders in on Roots of Madness #5, and the orders went up on issue 5.
Right.
And you just don't hear that.
So my question about that real fast, Dennis, is, you talked about communication early, but can you explain your social marketing between
I'll pick up where
lost him.
Jesse just faded out.
All right.
You actually promote each one of your issues, Philip, and since we're Facebook friends, I demand that publishers promote every issue like it's issue #1, and you absolutely do that. And Jesse is still frozen.
I was worried that was me. I was like, oh no, is my connection going?
Yeah, we're
yeah.
gonna end up having to kick him, and he'll come back. So,
yeah, I think that is, and I'll answer Jesse's question when he gets back. But that was something else we knew, is that we needed to bang that drum consistently, right? We needed to always be talking about the books, and obviously you can't. I think in a practical sense, I don't know that you can talk about every single issue as much as a #1, but you can do a heck of a lot more than the industry does, right? Like I think you can get out there and you can be just as enthusiastic about issue 4, issue 5, if you've got a good series and you believe in it.
Yeah. Sorry, Jesse. Go ahead.
My question was communication. What is the social marketing right now for Ignition between consumer and retailer?
What do I think the split is?
Yes.
I think it depends on which channel we're talking about, right? So, the Ignition Press Instagram, for example, based on what we can tell, I think is predominantly consumer, right? My Facebook page, as the publisher of Ignition, is probably 80% retail partners, right? And so it's dialing in based on what the channel is and where we think the audience is, and trying to meet the communication to match that.
As an independent, you really have to focus on the consumer, where a lot of the bigger Marvel and DC, we're really their customer. If they can sell it to us, they're going to sell the book, and just because their numbers over the years, I don't got to tell you, but I like how much you guys are going to the consumers. I do need people to come in and go, hey, I'm looking for this book, so I can order another one or another 2. I usually do 1+. So everybody that comes in and asks for the book, I buy another book. Right. So if I have 5 people looking for the book, I'll go up to 10. And I'm a guy who stays very lean. I'm sure you can see my numbers. I'm a very lean guy. But
smart.
If 5 people come looking for that book, I know there'll be 5 other people that'll need that book who didn't know about it until those 5 people tell all their friends, hey, you should be reading this. And so that you're getting out there to the regular consumers, which I don't think the big guys are really doing anymore so much for their new books that they're dropping. Marvel just dropped, I don't know, 6 new #1s, and I had no orders for any #1s. Now, people came in and bought them because they're #1s, but nobody knew they were coming, including me.
Yeah, I mean, I think our philosophy is that it is not your job to sell my books. It's my job to sell my books. For every retail partner that is out there and banging the drum for us, thank you. I'm grateful. I welcome the help, but it's not your responsibility is to run your business so that you can pay your mortgage and your rent and pay your employees, and that's part of the reason we made, the first 3 issues of every series are returnable, and then we overprint, because I want to take the risk and I want to put you in a position where you can succeed. And not even with that, not every retailer is going to succeed with every book. Right. Just like I'm always surprised and grateful when we find out that somebody's buying every Ignition book, because I think they're pretty varied, so I don't expect that the fan for Just Brutal is necessarily going to be the fan for
they're diverse.
The other half. Right.
Definitely. You have a very diverse lineup.
Yeah.
It's not carbon copies.
And not that I'm trying to pigeonhole this. Your rollout was very similar to someone we were talking about earlier, Distillery. You know, great names, good art, you know, independent projects. Yet you're still here and they are being shown the door. What do you think the difference in those rollouts? Because I know you're familiar with, you know, all the guys involved. Why do you think you're more successful right now than they did at the exact same period of their publishing?
Well, honestly, Dennis, to be fair to Chip and David, they're further down the timeline than we are, right? Like they launched in 2020. So let's, you know, I think to be fair to them, check back in with me in a year and a half or 2 years and make sure we can still say the same thing. Yeah. For my sake, I hope we can. Look, I think it's complicated. And what I mean by that is I think that Distillery launched with a terrific lineup of talent, high quality books. At the time that they launched, I think that a lot of what they were doing seemed to be what the market would respond to, you know, like, and I can't speak to, you know, why they had to postpone beyond the fact that, you know, obviously they were tied up with the Diamond stuff. And I know that, you know, for a smaller publisher, that's going to have a bigger impact than for someone that's more established and larger. And we were, you know, again, just being transparent, where we had the advantage is we came into the market after Diamond declared bankruptcy. So we weren't, not only were we not impacted by that, but it was never a conversation about whether we were going to go over there.
Right. But you also did something that a lot of other people didn't do. You announced and then you said, by the way, we're not in a hurry to rush and start printing stuff and taking orders. We want to make sure all of our ducks are in a row. And I know you personally talked to a lot of retailers to get their perspective on how you should go forward. Whereas I think other people kind of just jump in with both feet forward, thinking they know exactly what's going to sell. And when it doesn't, they don't want to admit that they were wrong and they continue on that path.
You know, what's also interesting though about the whole thing is that, you know, let's be honest, ultimately it's such a weird time when they started. It's right in the middle of the pandemic. It is, everything was so different and such a rapidly, it happened so rapidly how everything switched from, you know, pre-pandemic to pandemic, and then from pandemic to where we are now. It has completely flipped 3-4 times in what people are into, how people are buying, how people are how publishers and are being distributed. Like, so many things have changed. It's unreal.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, Philip, at the exact same time, you were still at Boom and you produced that Lee Bergeo book that was oversized. And you guys were super hyped about it, to the point where, you know, we had that retailer roundtable that I was the only retailer that showed up to. And I mean,
you got your money's worth though.
I did.
Yeah.
But what would you say to that? I mean, you guys realized you guys didn't do any more of those oversized books after that.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of things just to kind of respond to. You know, in terms of like listening to folks, I always like to say, you know what my favorite position is in a group like this? I want to be the second dumbest guy in the room. Not the dumbest guy, but the second dumbest guy in the room, because then you're learning, right? And
the pressure on the 5 of us now.
I'm not saying I'm not the dumbest guy in the room. I'm saying I like to be in the second to last.
Right.
So,
well, you didn't open a comic book store, so that automatically puts you probably at the
you're the smartest guy now.
fifth one in this room.
Yeah, second smartest at least.
Yeah.
So, and I think, you know, using that series was Mattson Tomlin and Lee Bermejo was. Oh gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking.
I couldn't remember the name of it either, so I don't feel bad. Like Human Target was
Violent Circle or something.
Yeah, it was 2 words, and I remember thinking it was like Human Target.
And if I see Mattson and Lee again and they ever watch the show, I'll be horribly embarrassed. But the thought with that series was that the previous biggest thing that Lee had done was the Black Label Batman, and that was such a big book for him. And Lee had also been working a ton in Europe, where again it's that bande dessinée kind of wider format, so he was really excited about it. And actually that's a great example where we made some like logical leaps based on that. We're like, okay, great, this is a slam dunk. And if I talked to retailers beforehand, in that case, they would have told me, no, dummy, it's because it's Batman and it has his junk in it. That's why that book took up. Which it's a fantastic book, right? But we made it's easy to kind of look at correlation and see causation. And unless you dig in and ask the questions and talk to enough folks to really understand what's happening behind the scenes, you can and that book, by the way, did well for us, but it wasn't wasn't enough of a strong response where we're like, oh, you know what, we should do like 2 other books just like this.
Right.
Yeah.
But you heard, you followed, and you listened, and then you moved to a different thing.
Yeah, and we've tried to do that at Ignition since, even since we launched. We had incentives, and we still have incentives that are predominantly aimed at helping retailers sell through things in their store, right? So we do point of purchase material as incentives. But when we launched,
did all those ash cans that you sent out to retailers, and that's a great cheap way to get a market listening to you and then follow up with the real product.
And that's one of the things that retailers told us, hey, this is working, give us more of that. And at the same time, when we launched, we had these 1 in 5 variant covers, right? And I had a couple specific conversations with retailers where they were like, hey, this is great. I appreciate you making these accessible. I don't know how to price a 1 in 5.
Yeah.
Because ratio for a 1 in 5 is cover price. So that's not helping. And I went, duh, right? Thanks for letting me know. So we switched the ash cans to the 1 in 5 incentive, and we made a 1 in 10. So now retailers have a variant cover that they can price at, $10 plus or minus.
Yeah. One of the things that Dan kind of teased us with is San Diego. You guys are already starting to work on your idea for San Diego, this upcoming San Diego. And I think that was such a big part of San Diego last year for me, was your guys' scene there, and then what you guys pulled off. It was fantastic. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be pretty similar to some excitement, some fun stuff going on in San Diego this year. What is your thought on the whole 2026 con thing? I mean, is Ignition Press going to have a presence at more cons this year, or are you still going to try and stick to San Diego, New York, and that type of stuff?
We're ramping up a little bit, but not. We don't want to go overboard, because ultimately, and anybody who's been on the publishing side or even on the retail side, that like for every show you do, I mean, Sean, what do you think? You lose at least a week plus whatever the money is, right?
Oh my God, your time planning, not to mention the time planning it, the money, resources, energy goes into it, discussions, meetings, travel. Good Lord,
I guarantee 20% of your staff's coming back sick. Right?
Yeah, you're negative 10, 20, 30, 40K before you even walk through the door, depending on what you do. So yeah.
So we're being selective in how we expand. I can say, and I don't think we've officially announced it, but people could infer, we are going to have a presence at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, because we have a lot of talent in the Midwest, and our feeling is that the Midwest is underserved oftentimes by publishers, right? And Planet Comic-Con is a massive show.
Yeah, I'm going this year. Excited to see you there.
Yeah. So we're going to do that show. We're going to do San Diego. We're still looking at a couple other things. We'll have some kind of B2B shows that we're doing as well, but we're going to roll it out slowly in a way that makes sense. San Diego Comic-Con, I think feel reasonably confident. I can say I think we're gonna step it up from last year. It should
Wow,
be
I'm looking at
Stepping
that.
up.
Yeah, I know,
Holy
right?
shit.
That was that means
I
a
better
lot,
start
right?
saving now.
Yeah, yeah.
We got more books to promote now. So
There you go. So, Philip, without getting a politically correct answer to this, do Marvel and DC numbers really matter to your company?
no, one of the things that we focus on is we don't want to be involved in kind of the games that oftentimes the rest of the market plays. I know how those games work. I've played them before. And ultimately you kind of get into this situation where you're just comparing yourselves to each other. First of all, I don't think Marvel and DC think about Ignition, other than maybe on
They don't even
occasion
think about each other.
if an editor tries to get somebody to work on a book and they tell them no because they're working on one of our books, that might be the only time they think about us, which is fine. That's, they are the market leaders and they're in a very specific, portion of the market. I want to be the publisher that sells off your shelf if you're a retailer. I don't want to have to trick you into over ordering to get something from me, right? I want you I want you to be Emma going like, oh, I can reorder No Place. I love that book and it's moving for me, right?
Yeah.
That's where I want to be, because I think long term that is what is going to make the company successful. And I'm in the fortunate position where I don't have a quarterly, report that I have to turn into 3 bosses above me to justify what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have to think short term. Jesse, and here I'll hit the buzzer. Jesse, you worked in corporate, so you know that you have to
Hold on.
there you go. So when you're in that setting, right, when you're at Marvel and you're at DC and you're in a corporate publicly traded company, you have numbers you have to hit. And the guy 2 seats above you doesn't care how you hit those numbers. He just needs you to hit the numbers because he's got somebody above him asking why the numbers aren't getting hit. And it's a different environment.
Amen.
Sadly, it never teaches them that when they put out a quality book and it sells like bananas, that they should just put out quality books. And independents just constantly try to put out quality books. That's all they're trying to do. And and then some hit, and all of them have some type of readership that they gather. Indies do, but the big guys are making a lot of books that people are just filling their box with.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, oh, I've bought Aquaman since I was 12, so I have to get the next issue of Aquaman. They're not even reading it. That's the only time I'm agreeing with Brian on reading comics, that there are people that are just filling the next book. And I think they lose some of those guys when they reboot so much, but indies is where, there's such an opportunity that people to discover quality writing and art and just storytelling in these books that, when I read books and they excite me and they get me going, I hand sell those. Like perfect. That No Place for me is like what Saga used to be for female readers. When I get somebody that comes in and they're like, oh, what should I read? I'm like, I've been selling it to everybody, but it is the perfect book for a girl who hasn't read anything. There's a lot of female characters. There's a lot of familiar plots for that group. Alice in Wonderland and then some new characters. So I'm sorry, Wizard of Oz. I mean, Dorothy.
Yeah.
So it is a great book to hand, and the big companies don't see these niches that they need to fill to enlarge the group of readers we need to make this, business successful for all of us. We need readers. Yes, collectors are great. Flippers are great. They add to it.
But that's why
they're not
Jeremy
painting.
And I loved telling Jeremy this. That's why Jeremy's book Beauty hit on such a different level for all the women that work for me And then they hand sold every copy in my store to the point where I think I was selling 15 to 20 copies of Beauty every month.
Yeah.
Which was unheard of. But
Well,
I had
the
an
greatest thing is,
army.
and then you're selling it to people that
Yeah,
faces you don't see in comic shops.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the books that we've launched so far, and I'm biased, but I think one of the magic tricks that our editorial team, Jamie Rich, Maggie Howell, have pulled off is they are all designed, and we selected projects that we felt like could appeal to an audience outside of the comic shop, right? So whether it's Murder Podcast, which is meant to appeal to fans of true crime, or No Place, which can appeal to fans of classic.
Hey, I'm into that
Wizard
true
of
crime
Oz
stuff big
and
time.
other isekai stories, but they're also packaged in a way where if you're a regular customer at a comic shop, there's an easy commercial pitch, right? So No Places, imagine Dorothy from Wizard of Oz grew up and became essentially the head of a secret organization that's like Men in Black that recruits essentially these children heroes that go into other worlds and come back, right?
Yeah.
And her latest recruit is a girl who disappeared for 3 years, and everybody thinks she was kidnapped and something horrific happened to her, and she doesn't remember it. She's blocked it out because she keeps saying she was in a magical land where she rode a flying tiger and defeated the big bad. And so those are ideas that you can tell someone that hopefully tell somebody that's reading Image or Dark Horse Comics, and they go, oh, that sounds cool, or I like that particular corner of fandom. And at the same time, if somebody walks in to the store off the street that maybe hasn't checked out comics yet, we think if not already, then by this summer we should kind of have a book for everybody.
Yeah, I think that you're building that, and you guys are doing a great job. I want to shout out everybody in the chat that picked up the cold open of Just Brutal. We're going to be doing stuff with this book all week, you guys. Tonight's code and link will only be available until midnight. Shout out to everybody that is in Europe and in Canada. Unfortunately, we can't get it to you through this code, but if you guys keep an eye on Beyond Wednesdays, I'll have a couple of these available in live sales. And for those of you guys that might, be in Canada or something, hit me up in those live sales and we'll get something to you. I'll make sure I get something to you if you want one for the same exact price. So just let me know.
I have some pretty quick inside transparency type question. Do you have editors and art editors for each book? Or are they like DC or under a group, like the Batman group, and they have a chief editor, but then they have an art editor, and are all these books being looked at by editors before?
Yeah, part of what we offer creators is that they have full editorial support. So right now it's a small team. We have Jamie. So essentially all of the books that came out in 2025 are books that Jamie edited directly. In terms of, and then Maggie, who joined the company at the beginning of the year, Bloodland is her at the beginning of last year. So Bloodland is her first title, and then she has the other half coming. Minotaur that's coming for Comic Giveaway Day / Free Comic Book Day by Cy Spurrier and Mike Dowling is another one of Maggie's titles. And that book, you remember how you felt when you read Planetary for the first time 25 years ago?
Yep.
That's how I felt when I was reading Minotaur.
Cy Spurrier is badass. That dude is the real deal, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and then we're lucky because Jeremy is a creative director at the company, right? So we have an artist that is part of the decision making, that is inside the company helping us find talent. I think honestly the last thing too is when you pay people competitively, you get and you create a good environment and you give them the time to do their work, you get good work out of them. It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird concept, right?
This is I'm gonna before we let you get out of here.
And you actually pay them after they do the work.
Yeah. There's a couple questions in the live chat that I want to ask. Raider Nation asks, is there a pitch? Is a pitch still the go-to for a new book? Question mark. And is there something you said no on that later you were like, dang it, I should have went with that?
So I think if I understand the question, yes, all of our projects come from pitches, but pitches that we go out and we request, right? So we're sourcing because by and large we're a creator-driven company, meaning we select books based on the talent that we want to work with, right? And I think I've talked about it in previous episodes, so I won't redo it too much here. But we looked for folks that we thought are really talented, folks that we thought would be interested and excited about the support we could offer in marketing and want to get engaged in it, and really help build their brand. That was something that we wanted to do, and we needed creators that wanted our help to do that. And then last but not least, a working relationship is probably the people you spend the second most time, amount of time in your life. Right. So we wanted them to be folks that we wanted to spend time with.
Amen. Amen.
Life is too short.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, totally. I agree with that. I think that's something that we learn as we get older, unfortunately, and it's just a part of life. But you learn like, hey, I want to spend this time with people that I get along with rather than people I don't. Period. So that's a big deal.
And to answer the second question from Raider Nation, I can't think of anything that we've passed on at Ignition. Admittedly, we've only been doing this for 18 months. So again, ask me in a year, and maybe there'll be the one that we should have seen that we missed. The example I have from my Boom days is we had the original graphic novel pitch that came to us from Zoe Thorogood, and we missed it. And I think she is a generational talent, and that's one where it's like, well, I wish we could have seen that, but we didn't, and that's on us.
Yep. It's gonna happen, man. That's that means it's a healthy market. If there's every once in a while there's something that you went, man, I wish I really would have taken a shot at that. Official Music Pub says, do you have an option for retailer exclusives if there's retailers that want to get on board with a title and create an exclusive?
We don't currently, and that was actually a strategic decision because we wanted to. A couple reasons. One, we wanted to limit the number of choices out there, so that as we were trying to build this, we weren't diluting it. And then it goes back to the number issue, right? The reality is that with rare exception, and actually, Dennis and Jesse were two examples of folks I worked with at Boom that didn't kind of operate this way. But by and large, the retailer exclusive game is always going to be what's the next hot number one, right? And which is great if you want to juice your numbers on number one, but I don't need to have an extra 1,000 copies out into the market that then aren't going to come back for issue 2, right? And so we just, those two things coupled with the idea that essentially, like, once you open Pandora's box, it's real hard to get that monster back in the box, because you come to rely on that revenue, right? And at a certain point, it becomes a question of like, who are you saying no to, right? And now your job becomes managing that. And so, we just figured better to not open that door at this point, which isn't to say we won't ever do it. It's just not something we're doing now. The closest we've done is we agreed that if a creator wants to do their own exclusive, which, for example, the Miranda brothers did that on Arcadia One, and they want to partner, they have a relationship with a retailer who's going to help facilitate, the sales and the fulfillment of those books, we're okay with that.
Excellent.
If you ever want to revisit that, definitely interested.
Good to know.
If you make a policy, you do issue 1, you got to do issue 2.
Jesse, you're
and Philip, I have a great idea for you, but I don't want to tell you on the show. So make sure you message me tomorrow.
Yeah.
It doesn't
you know,
want.
He doesn't want anybody to hear
because
it.
no, I came up with
Right.
it when you were discussing something earlier, and I think you're exactly the publisher to be able to pull it off.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's definitely chat.
Yep. And I just have a final question. I'm trying to figure this out. Am I seeing a little gray there?
Well, yeah.
There you
Watch
go.
out.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
Brian
Yeah,
will
yeah.
draft you. Brian will draft you on the show if your beard gets any grayer.
He's already drafted on the show.
Look, the every one of these is earned. And you know, I don't know a lot of people that have run or started companies that don't have gray somewhere. Sean's smart. He just shaves it all off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Keeps you looking young.
That
Yeah.
and children.
Yeah.
For years, I had this because I was like, nobody's going to take me seriously. I look like I'm 12. And now I'm like, I might be turning the corner on this.
Yeah.
My wife won't let me shave the beard off. So
Yeah.
My wife won't let me grow one, so I'm not allowed.
It's either one
Right.
or
See,
the other.
that's the secret is like it's not like this is not up to me.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
we
your
have to
choice.
make our choices, right? It's not our choice. We just do what our wives tell us, right?
Yeah. The lady said she liked it that way. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
life,
Right.
happy life.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, thanks for joining us again, man. You're welcome here anytime. We'll bug you more often. We got plans to bring Dan on and maybe something special tomorrow. But for everybody who's catching this on the replay, if it's past midnight tonight, and you didn't get one of the Just Brutal cold open variants, come hang out with us tomorrow night on Wednesday Night Review, and we might have something else special for you. So make sure you come
Yeah,
hang out with us.
we're gonna have some fun this week. Brian, thank you for actually all of you guys. Thank you for your support. Thanks for letting me come on and talk about the books. I really I appreciate you guys. I listen every week, and sometimes catch myself yelling at what you guys are saying. But
That's why we do it, man. Hell yeah.
That's
we
why
do it.
Emmett is here for you to say controversial things that
Yeah,
you'll be upset
exactly.
with.
I mean, look,
Here's
definitely
the
the controversy scale went up when you added Emmett to the line. So we all know
right.
that.
Yeah. All right,
Hi,
brother.
brother.
Thank you so much, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.
That-
Take care.
Good dude, Philip
Yeah.
Sablik.
It's always fun, man, having him on.
Yeah.
What a
He's
good
a real
the
comic
thing
guy,
is
man. He's a
he's-
real comic guy. He
he's
loves
filled-
comics.
He's filled so many spots in this industry, and so many of our guests come back to, well, I remember I was working here with Philip Sablik, and then all of a sudden he suggested I do this, or he introduced me to this guy. Oh, and then he went over to this company and he greenlit that thing I was talking to him about over at this company. And he's kind of one of those social glues of the comic industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that when you're explaining Philip to someone and you say all this cool stuff about him, and then you say, oh, by the way, he sells comics. He's in the comic book industry. That's like secondary because he's just like he's one of the cool guys in the trenches that gets it.
Yeah.
He gets it. That's the key, Jesse,
Yep.
is he really does get it.
Yep.
Finger on the pulse. All right. So remember, you guys, the link is pinned in the live chat. Listen, it's a limited to 500 variant. Check it out. It's $9.99. If you use the code BW20, you get $2 off that, and it's only an $8 book. So if you're in the United States, check it out. And if you're catching this on the replay past midnight tonight, make sure you check.
Apparently,
check
the
in with
chat
us
is
on
also
Wednesday.
saying there's a problem with using PayPal.
Yeah, they
He
don't
said they
accept
don't
take
PayPal
PayPal.
yet. Yeah.
No
Okay.
PayPal and
replied
no
to
out
him.
of the country.
Yeah.
You know
So,
what's amazing?
go ahead,
just
Jesse.
let me say something on that. Is it amazing that $8 no longer sounds like a lot of money for a comic book?
I know.
It's not.
I
Is
know.
that crazy or
Yeah.
It's
what?
not.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
definitely not
especially-
for a limited edition.
I would say,
Yeah.
especially limited to 500. That's a steal.
That's
So
a $20 book with 90% of the places.
Are panel members allowed to jump on this deal, Brian?
Of course. Of
Good,
course.
because I bought a bunch.
Good. Well, listen, even some of the
Asks
people that
after he buys it.
yeah, some of the people that couldn't get it, if you guys hang out with me in my live sales on eBay Live and whatnot, I'll have a couple on there eventually for you guys, and I'll make sure to try and get you guys one if I can. So just
I'm
keep
waiting
an eye
for
on
someone
those.
to say it's sold out. I'm waiting
Yeah.
to hear that number.
Okay, so I want to jump back in real quick. We were talking about the distillery stuff, but the other craziness is IDW. IDW released this report the other week, 12.5% sales decline. Of course, they're blaming the diamond stuff for the losses, but
Yeah, I don't think. Go ahead, Dennis. You can go first.
Well, I mean, so you have to give the backstory on this, Brian. I want to say 2017, 2018, the crack started to show in the IDW facade.
Yes, it did.
They lost Hasbro as a master licensor.
Yep. Wrong.
Somewhere in there.
Mask, G.I. Joe,
huge.
Transformers.
They filed for bankruptcy twice before COVID, and then they took a giant PPP loan or PPE loan or whatever during COVID. They came out and at some point in 21 or 22 said they didn't have any more money to keep going past some period, and they needed more funding. And now they're blaming Diamond for a 12% fiscal loss?
No.
Well,
this is the chickens coming home to roost.
They tried rebranding. They tried to change logo. They tried all kinds of crap.
Yeah,
exactly. So they lost $2.2 million. $935,000 was in comics. But here's the crazy thing: 2024, 75% of their sales came from Penguin. So how is Diamond even involved in this?
I didn't even know that. Good call,
so,
Jesse.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I think when you start digging into numbers and not just a article that does a piece without investigating, which is fine, and I'm not saying anything against Rich or Bleeding Cool, but when you deep dive into this is just FUBAR. It's a statement they're coming out to protect their investors.
Here is the thing to me, though, that is most important about what this is leading to, and that is this. IDW's got plans to change their how they do their comics. They used to be IP driven, right? They would do licensing deals like Dennis is talking about. Now they're planning to own more of the comics that they publish. And this it sounds like it should be good, right? But unfortunately,
well, actually, IDW, and Brian, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to give this giant origin story. IDW stands for Ideas
Design Workshop.
And they actually started as a creator-owned property, signing the deal with Temple Smith and other
Steve Niles.
That was the entire start.
Yes.
And then they started chasing IP.
Yes.
And then they forgot that they were a creator-owned idea workshop.
Well, you want to hear the worst part about this, Dennis?
Yeah.
So
please.
they're going back to that, but the problem is
nobody will trust them.
They're shifting from licensed stuff to obviously outside-owned, publisher-controlled IP. So they will own it 100%, but give the creator royalties. And guess who did this? Sounds like this is the same thing that Distillery was doing. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
And the problem is that creators don't want this. As of right now, this is something that they don't want. This is not going to help them.
They haven't wanted this for 30 years.
Yeah, they're IP farming. Instead of license driven, now that's going to fuck up the retail stability in everything they do. I think because. Let's be honest. Are they going to get a bunch of good ideas if they're not going to share the benefits with the people that come up with them? Not when there's other places out there for these people to go to. They can do the stuff on their own if they want.
Yep. Well, and they've created such a sucking chest wound of a company that any good idea that came their way now would get absorbed financially into that structure of yes men and do nothings that they've got in place that have clearly run this company into the ground. And now you're going to come up with a good idea, give it to IDW. It's actually a hit. And then 90% of it goes to propping up the people that have run the company into the ground. And you get 10% at the end of a kickback.
You want to hear the
I
worst?
just don't.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I was say I just don't know who's, like Dennis said, who's going to be like, oh, you'll take my entire IP, but give me royalties if you publish my book. Okay, here you go.
Everybody who never thought they could get into comics.
Like,
It's
what
just-
do you
it's
think you're
a
going to get
roulette
for
wheel.
royalties?
Well, it's
Yeah,
funny that you bring up the roulette wheel, because that is what I believe David Jonas made in their investors call. He even made a statement, something along the lines of like, they're farming for lottery tickets here. IDW isn't publishing comics. They're trying to like own lottery tickets, you know. They're taking chances on the lottery tickets, is something like of what he said, which is very interesting. And that's not going to play out well, but you know,
stop with the Godzilla comics.
They sell
everywhere, bro.
great though.
Yeah, they do.
IDW will pay
Starship.
royalties. Oh, sorry.
No,
IDW will
you're
pay
too much, huh?
royalties, but keep 100% IP ownership, hoping this approach delivers long-term growth and value. Not gonna
Listen,
happen.
if Hollywood
Number
doesn't
one.
respect you, it doesn't matter how much
Right.
IP you own.
Right.
If they can't work with you, man, they haven't
No.
worked with anybody since after 30 Days a Night. They should have been like, Hollywood should have been doing one of their things a year.
Yep.
Well, they screwed over Temple Smith too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You've had that drunken conversation with Ben.
Oh, I know Ben very well. He's
Yeah.
He won't
Yeah,
even sign the books.
Ben's the first one that'll tell you they fucked him over.
And now they're republishing it too.
Yep.
Right out from under his nose.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean,
and also I was Facebook friends with Steve Niles for a long time, and Steve didn't have two nickels to rub together for a good 10 years.
well, and you know, we should never forget, like, not to hold, like Stan Swagger said in the chat, purple hair liberals, sorry, my bad. I mean, okay, let's be for real here. When they had those IPs, they lost them because they made a transformer or something like that.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
They made a non-binary GI
Yep.
Joe or some weird shit. Like, what are you doing with these beloved properties that we grew up with, and you're just destroying them? Like,
Right.
how do they have any trust left? You know?
Yep. And like I've said, many shows, hope is not a business plan. You cannot use the word hope in your business plan.
Hope is not a course of
Hopefully-
action.
You can't get a loan on hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is that one thing that they really was that Exorcism at 1600 pen. Was that an IDW book? I think it was, right? That's the one that just got optioned.
Should
And-
look up some of their books.
No.
No.
Doesn't matter. I mean, IDW at one point had a ton of that early stuff optioned, and none of it came through.
Beneath the
And
trees where
then
where nobody sees. That's another one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, that was probably their best one they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is that is 1600.
That book,
Exorcism
the-
is on theirs.
Beneath the Trees, is amazing.
Yeah, but would Horvath have gone there if he known? I maybe that's the deal he signed. I don't know. I hope
No,
not.
I don't think they're moving. They moved in there, but
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
again, there are a lot of guys. Listen, there's a lot of us
Yeah.
guys who run comic shops.
Yeah.
Who would have loved to been in comics, and you know, if they're just open to taking pitches, you know, they're going to get a lot of pitches.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they can pick up artists all over the world for, you know, next to nothing.
Emmett, do you put your comics by publisher or by alphabetical order on new issues?
New issues is both. I do Marvel alphabetically, DC alphabetically,
Okay.
and then independents. It's just independents. I actually move those around. The ones that have the most exciting covers get the best spot.
I'll answer Blind Adam from the chat. He said,
Mhm.
"Is there a reason Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is still there? Does Kevin Eastman have a stake in the company at this point?" At the time, Kevin still owned Heavy Metal when they were publishing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I believe. And Kevin, I think they owned the license for Turtles from where it got
Where?
sold off and brought back around. Does anybody know if that's true or not?
Yeah, Laird sold it all off.
Yeah, but
Right.
but IDW basically gets to own Turtles as a comic book. Kevin works with them because at the time at which he sold off Heavy Metal, he didn't have any other projects. So Kevin kind of became the de facto head of the Turtles. And I'm sure he gets some kind of bigger kickback for, being it, because I know that's the reason most of the fans still buy it, because Kevin is still involved.
No, the sad thing is IDW produces some good books.
Yeah.
Those Turtle books are solid.
Oh yeah, Last Ronin is still going to be a huge book for a long time.
Yeah.
So here's a breakdown. TMNT is owned by Viacom, which is a part of Paramount Global. Viacom bought TMNT from Eastman and Laird in 2009. Paramount owns the IP. They license it to IDW apparently,
and they still have the Star Trek license, so
They still
that's
have Star
probably
Trek
part
and
of the bigger
Godzilla.
deal.
Yeah.
I've always been trying to figure out what do you think this license costs a year to make it profitable to make a comic book? And
I
we
think
know
it's a percentage off of.
they're just getting per book.
No.
There's got to get
like
a flat fee.
There's a flat fee at the beginning.
And then a
just to
percentage
start.
of the
Yeah.
books.
Yep.
But it can't be that much because there's not a lot of money in comics. They can't be getting $100,000 or anything like that.
Like, what do you
Well,
mean?
next time we get Nick on, maybe he can give us some insight on that.
Yeah, Nicky would be able to tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
he's the king of
yeah,
licenses
just
right
because
now.
here's the thing is that the rumors that's been coming out about DC, if Netflix gets it, they're not interested in publishing.
Yep.
I did some digging on that. Some people I know, they're hearing the same thing. They think it's 100% true. Then would they become a licenser, right? And just license out the characters? And then what would be, if I guess if you wanted to license Batman, it would be a fuck ton of money. But if you wanted to license Animal Man
But Batman's that people do Batman Batpacks. It's already being done now.
No, I know they're licensed, but that's for merchandise, not comic books, because they are still a publisher.
Right.
But if they stopped publishing,
the person who is technically the president of DC was the former shoe salesman for DC. What's her name? Pam Lilford. She was in charge of licensing DC to shoe manufacturers, and then they tapped her to go up as the president and fired Dan DiDio over it, which happened right at the time that the Batwing issue came out.
I think we're so far out from this. I just think IDW. I mean, losing 700, no matter what you're doing, losing 700K, that's going to hurt your business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's going to make it difficult to move forward. Exactly, Sean.
Yeah.
They wrote checks against it, $705,000 in bad checks. That is crazy thinking there.
Well, but a lot of that is probably what they owe the licensees serves for those deals.
Probably.
The printers, like those are the people not getting paid. Employees probably.
Well, and IDW publishes all of their books off sea and ships them in container trucks or container shipping vessels to the U.S. So there might be a tariff issue too that they didn't count on for this year.
Well,
everybody used to get their books done in Malaysia.
That's the case, then they got to be printing those books in advance of FOC because you're not going to get a book on.
That was the biggest problem with them.
So,
they would announce a book, you would do an FOC. It was already on a boat when you did the FOC. So if the FOC exceeded what they actually printed,
you got allocated.
Everyone got allocated.
Well, yeah, they got to be using Transcon for some stuff like floppies.
No, their floppies are all printed, I believe, in Korea.
Bro, there's no way they can be doing that because you cannot get a book from Korea to here with any kind of cost in 3 weeks from FOC to date.
What I'm saying, Sean, you're not understanding, and this is something that the industry all knew about. They were on a boat 2 months before.
No,
The book
no, I hear you,
arrived.
brother. I hear you. They probably were doing that. I'm not doubting that at all. There are
Yeah.
people that do that for sure. I don't think they're doing that now.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that they've stopped doing most of what they did when they
Yeah.
stopped selling comic books.
I mean,
The
that's how
thing
they
is,
do.
if you don't change leadership, what do you expect? What's going to happen? You know, if they don't have a new president, a new
Well, it's funny because
Yeah.
they changed leadership. All the leadership below that clown all ended up moving away and just saying we're done with it. Jesse and I know a half a dozen to a dozen people that all were totally embedded at IDW, and they all found different places 5 years ago.
Is IDW publicly traded?
They are, I believe.
They are. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, how is
It's
this guy not voted out by the
IDW,
board?
Yeah, IDW Media Group, I believe is what it's
It is.
under.
Yep, you're right. IDWM.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very,
they-
very interesting. So,
Oh, but they trade on a different market, not the New York
Right.
Stock Exchange.
No,
and Nasdaq.
no.
Well, I
They're
think
small
after the
cap.
second bankruptcy, they got downgraded.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the grading stuff that's going on in the world right now. There is this new news about CGC issues where I guess people are somebody got their books back with the welds either not being good enough to, and
I shared that video with you.
Yeah, is it this
a long time
video?
ago.
Is it this video right here, Emmett? This one right here?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's go ahead and watch this. All right, here we go.
Hello, community. I have a customer that shared a video
no
with
volume.
me
I
today
can't
of
hear
a
it.
batch of books.
You can't hear it?
Nope.
All right, hold on here. Now you can.
She got back from CGC, and check this out.
So I just unboxed these. I dropped these off at GalaxyCon. I was all excited to get them. Long travel day, get home, and then look. That's not supposed to happen. Oh, I can't believe it. One's like that. Nope. Look.
Whoa.
Every single one of them comes apart. Are we gonna fix this, CGC?
Why would you grade a?
Probably personal, right?
Yeah.
So here's the question.
Well, he's a presser, by the way.
Oh, he
so these might have been books he pressed for customers.
Yeah, Palm Beach presser. I don't know if anybody else has came out and said that they've had them happen too, except for I guess there isn't one other post that somebody has posted about the same issue, but this was one a few months ago about somebody saying that their issues where it wasn't the weld wasn't made.
Well, and
good
I mean,
enough.
my video, like even when they are welded, you could just do the red hood
One-handed.
crack.
Yep, one-handed, pop
And-
those suckers out.
Yep.
Yep.
So this is going to start a whole new deep dive into the issues that CGC specifically has been having at least since 2023. It's been a shit show over at CGC. It's been really bad. There's a ton of problems that we've talked about on this channel, on this show. There's been the holder tampering issue, right? There's been the, of course,
Swapgate.
grading inconsistency and encapsulation concerns across the board. There was the internal theft incident. There was there's been
Energy drink girl.
yeah, right. All this stuff. The Banana Gate. And in a time where PSA is coming into the market, that we're seeing, a little bit of extra love heading PSA's way right now. I don't know how long that'll last. I haven't heard much problems with PSA on this issue.
Record-breaking sales.
Yeah. So
Except for their card stuff.
yeah, their card stuff is a shit show, a major shit show. And but I want to know to the audience out there, like, have you guys lost confidence in CGC at this point?
well, let me ask you this: is there an error percentage allowed in grading?
That's a great point, because you got to remember they are grading, millions of items a year. What is the percentage that we allow them to fuck up? You know what I mean? But I don't know if they put
How
out
would you
no
ever
air.
count it? It's impossible.
Yeah.
Everybody has to agree to accept shit and pay for it.
Yeah.
If it makes you more money, everybody's in for it. They don't care. They don't care at all whether it's a scam or not. If it's making them money and everybody else is agreeing to believe it, it's fine. It just keeps going around.
This highlights the bigger trust issue in comics.
He's out of line, but he's not wrong.
I mean, to a point. I mean, I get what you're saying, Emmett, for sure. But to a certain point, if something is truly a scam, the market will recognize it and adjust, and people won't.
Right.
Not if everybody's making money.
Yeah,
Look at the world. It doesn't matter what they do as long as.
But Emmett,
I am. Define a scam, I guess, at that point.
So they don't guarantee the grade. So if you get a 9.8 and you try to sell it to me, I can look at that and say it's not a 9.8. Then you can just go to the next guy, and if he believes that it's a 9.8 because CJC says it's a 9.8, you can get the money from them. But they don't guarantee the grade. Everybody says, I want my book protected. I don't care about the grade. I want my book. They don't guarantee protection. They guarantee authenticity, and they've even gotten that wrong.
Yeah.
So coming from wrong. Go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Well, to answer Emmett, I gave up on CGC in 2013. I waited until CBCS came along, and I'm of the same mind, Emmett. I don't care if all the money is chasing CGC. If I was grading through CBCS because I wanted the quality of their grading and the protection of the book and the slab. So I would hold out until I got what I felt was the price I wanted for the book, no matter what. Oh, well, the CGC comp for that is only 800 and you're asking 1,000. Buy the CGC then. I think this is a better quality book and a better quality slab. That was all well and good until CBCS started treating me as a customer badly. And I said, you know what? I'll say goodbye to these guys. I announced it right here on the show when I left them. Guess what? A couple months later, PSA comes out. Well, I'm already doing 90% of my card business with PSA. Why wouldn't I trust them for comics if they're able to, give the same PSA? Did I say CGC?
Yeah.
No, PSA.
PSA.
Okay. Why wouldn't I trust PSA with my comic books if I'm already trusting them with my cards?
Good. I mean, those are good points. And, not to get into a super deep thing about the deeper merits of grading, not grading, all that stuff. But I guess, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're saying all grading is a scam, or just CGC, or
except for tag?
I do all my cards through tag. I don't grade comic books because, listen, that's a large. Yes, people are making a lot of money on it. I say if you're going to sell your books, grade your books. Then the person who gets the graded book, whatever they want to do with it, take it out, whatever. It's up to them after they get it. But there's no reason to grade your book until you're going to sell your book. I still won't grade mine to sell. I sell all raw unless I get a graded one in a collection, and then I'll pass it on at whatever price I want to put on it. But yeah, I won't actually put it into grading because it's taking money out of the industry. That person, if you're sending it in as a person who reads comics, you're sending that $50. You could buy a lot of comics with the $50 you're giving to CGC to maybe damage your book, to maybe,
like I said, he's out of line, but he's not wrong.
Well, I mean, it keeps money in the industry too, though. If I send a book for grading, it costs me okay, $50, let's just say, and I'm going to sell that book. That's money I'm going to use to buy more comics,
or the money I've grade made, or grade more.
That I would probably grade more. There are guys in that
huge corporation that owns the grading companies now.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That can be a major problem because
as soon as saturation is reached,
quality goes down at that point,
and they're going to leave.
But guys, huge corporations own all the comic companies. They own Marvel and DC.
No, they own all of them. They own Marvel and
Well,
DC.
okay, the two big ones.
And they
They
have
own the two big
that way
ones.
they have competition.
Or Image.
You know, with PSA buying more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like
I
now
just-
they own SGC and Beckett.
and the video game grading company.
So
Wada.
if you go to a convention, there will be several booths set up. One of the biggest ones I see out there, Captured Collectibles, ran by a friend of mine, Jason, great dude.
Yep.
These guys, their booth is set up doing nothing but submitting books and getting books signed by creators to get them graded. That's money going to creators for
industry.
signatures.
Yes.
They're buying the comics to get them graded. They're getting them signed to get them graded. They're sending them out for grading. Yes, the grading companies get that money. Then the books come back and they sell them to other collectors who want their books graded and signed. Like,
Yeah,
that's-
but Sean, how greedy are some of the middlemen? And I'm not saying captured, but what I just saw somebody post in one of the Facebook forums, $40 for a Scott Snyder Batman submission, and $20 for the other guy from Absolute
Dragotta.
Batman,
Dragata.
Dragata.
Yeah.
But I
seems
don't
about
know
right.
that Scott is signing the $40 or is collecting the $40.
No, he's
No.
not. For sure.
So-
he's
Everybody
not.
everybody's
That's a
getting
big
cut along the
issue
way.
with me.
Yeah.
But everybody gets
Well,
a
so
cut
this
along
is
the
the
way.
thing: is if the companies would pay their artists, and Sean, I've heard you pay your artists quite well, but the big guys don't.
Yeah.
If
Right.
they pay their artists, they wouldn't have to suck all that money out of the industry
Well,
for
okay,
an
but-
autograph.
But then, man, we're getting into a rabbit hole now. So when you get into it, I mean, so I'm sure. Let's just say let's pick random creator A, and he's a writer. This guy's doing pretty well. Let's just say he's writing Absolute
James
Batman.
Tynan. Let's say Tynan. Let's pick
Yeah,
Tynan.
okay, Tynan. He's doing very well in what he's doing. Tiny, he's got this publishing stuff. He's getting movies made. He's got all these great IPs under his belt. He's doing great. I know his agent very well, Scott's Collectibles, great dudes, but they're setting the price for what he's charging for SIGs to get money. It's not because he's broke. It's because the mentality is, well, and different people have this. Some creators want their signatures to be limited, so they're going to charge more. Some people just start saying, you know what, if you're going to sell my signature for $70, I'm going to charge you some of that too.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it varies. I know some guys where
Well, look at
it's
Todd
$10
at
a sig, it's
CGC for what was he there for?
160
Well,
bucks.
and-
No,
and-
150 is what Todd's at now, or 200?
well, and,
Yeah,
and they'll charge
But how
more. if
long he
it's
was
a-
there, signing 12 hours a day?
Yeah.
Well, and they'll charge more if it's a witness signature for grading. So if you show up in line, you got a dude following you with the red CGC shirt on, they're going to be like, oh, this is witnessed. Okay. It's going to be 40 instead of 20 because they know you're probably going to flip that book and make some money. So they want to get their cut of that money too.
They
Yep.
assume
Whether it
you're
be
gonna
flawed
flip that
thinking
They
or not.
assume it. Yes, you're right.
because
it-
the industry has taught us that you have to get your books graded, right? The whole industry is
if-
behind.
I
it.
don't think
Damn it,
it's
Sean,
taught
you're
it.
making Emmett right.
I don't think
It's
that they've taught
collectors.
us
It's
that.
not the industry.
It's
The mark-
collectors.
just,
Yes.
Well,
just
can
like
we
people,
can we go to
just
my
like people that hate variant covers. If they didn't sell, they wouldn't make them.
Right. Well,
they didn't
it's
know-
not even that. Let me help you out here. This is driven by consumers' pain. If consumers didn't buy, we wouldn't be talking about this.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
what you're asking is we need to tell the consumers to stop grading comics.
I do every
the
That's
week.
just not going to happen.
if I got my books graded, and nobody bought them, I wouldn't get them graded anymore.
Well, I'll
got-
tell you
yeah,
this. It doesn't
know.
even have to do with secondary value at this point. If they keep grading books like this, it's
Yeah.
not. They're gonna make this is gonna make the decision for us. Bad quality
Yeah,
is gonna
no,
make the
I-
decision for
Everybody's
us.
going to be
I-
left
this
holding
is-
this shit.
This is what I disagree with here. You're showing one person. This only affects someone when it happens to them.
No, hold on, Jesse. I'm not. I get it that this is one person, but you forgot what I said. I said that if this keeps happening, if we see more of this happening, if this isn't just 2 or 3 people like it is now, if this turns out to be 10 people, if this turns out to be 20 people, and people start,
but,
you know what I
okay,
mean?
So Brian,
10,
hold on.
10 times 5 is 50 graded books like this. And how many do they do a year?
It doesn't matter. Social media
Or
will,
it doesn't. Sure, it
But
doesn't.
so
not with social
Brian-
media. I don't think.
You think everybody watches social media for grading? They don't.
I think
it's a small percentage that watch.
I think
for
a big chunk of people that get their books graded, not get books graded, but there's a large chunk of people that get a lot of their comic information off of social media.
So, Brian, I've been watching a lot of doom scrolling economic stuff, and I watched The Big Short. And the one thing that's always present is the erosion of the foundation, and to use Emmett's word, that the scam is based on. And, you know, I had a customer come in today, and if you can show that video.
Is it on your Facebook?
Yes, it's a little 16-second video of a bunch of comic books flashing.
Okay. Oh, it's on your Facebook, or it's on your Instagram, I mean.
Yeah, it's on both of them.
Yeah.
They mirror. You know, when you see a whole lot of these things, and just last week we were talking about the Wizard collapse, and when the people were told that their $20 valuable new comic book was worth $2 to the retailer when they tried to sell it, that's when the whole market collapsed. This guy came in today. This was his comic collection.
That's an Unknown Comics collection is what it is. Those are all unknown variants.
Not all of them. Some of them are regular A covers.
Like the Ninja high school stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I just threw that in the middle. Sorry. That was just me buying some Ben Dunn stuff because I love Ben.
A lot of that Zerdy stuff is unknown.
Yeah. Well, I think it was also another company with the triangle.
That's Fried.
No, they've got like a pyramid and
Third Eye.
What they did was that's a logo they made for all the stores that come behind it.
Okay.
It's unknown in some other stores.
So he bought all of these books at $10, $15, $20 a piece. He definitely was buying off of Whatnot, you know, the Whatnot. But you could it's only 16. You're just keep going there.
Yeah.
But all of these books were books that people told him he had to buy because they were collectible. I will not tell you what I paid for all these books, but it was nowhere near.
No, I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, exactly.
And because the inventory is so high, and they're great covers, I'll get 5, 10, maybe $20 for a few of these. But this is when the industry starts collapsing, is when this business model, when you can't take this and he took it to 2 other comic shops before me. They didn't even want it.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I think that is one of the things that we've talked about for a long time.
So with this plus grading your books turning out to be shit slabs and then not being able to resell it for the $100 that it was being sold at the convention.
That was the 90s.
Yeah, it's literally every single part of the anti-life equation that we went through in the 90s being played out right now.
Guys. I think it's just different parts of the industry. So, for example, and you could talk about each one. Grading has been around for how long now? And honestly, I think grading serves a few purposes. Number one, if you have a big book, would that Action Comics have broke the sales record if it was raw?
If there was no grading, it would. It may not have been 12 billion, but it still would have been.
Okay, but there is grading.
Okay, but would it have gone for more if it hadn't have been regraded 5 times before that at a lower grade?
Well, that's what I'm saying is, of course, with a book like that, you're going to try to get it pressed and cleaned and everything to avoid restoration to get the highest grade as possible. That's just smart business. But grading serves a few purposes. One is when you want a third party. If I'm selling a book to Dennis and I say it's a 7, he goes, no, it's a 6. Okay, let's get someone else to grade this. Okay, cool. Let's ask Emmett what he thinks. That's a third party. It's the only difference is these third parties are charging money, putting it in plastic and putting a label on it, right? So that's one purpose of it. The second purpose is to have an authentic signature, right? Okay, with this hereby certifies this book is signed by this guy. And then third, really, some people just like the way they look in slabs and want it in a slab to hang it on the wall to look pretty. Look at Brian's wall behind him.
I think that's one of the biggest.
I
think the 2 biggest reasons people get books graded is 1, they look pretty. You can put them on the wall; they look pretty. And 2, when you're ready to sell them, they're easier to sell. I think that's the only reason to get books graded, in my personal opinion. But if it's depending on the book, you're going to make more money off of it if you get it graded, depending on the book. Not every book should be graded. Not every book should be graded.
Value.
No,
that's incorrect. That's incorrect.
But then again, it's all personal preference. I tell people all the time, buy what you like, collect what you want. Don't let someone tell you what you should or should not do with your comic. You own it. If you want to get it graded, go for it.
Yeah,
agreed.
No,
but they should be educated.
Yes.
All of our problems in the world would be solved with education. When I
agree
tell
100%.
people that their grade is meaningless, they go, "What do you mean?" I'm like, you could put 2 9/8s together. They're not identical.
I've had people come into me with modern books and say, "I want to get this graded," and I'm like, "Yeah, why?" Well, I want to resell it someday. No, man, this is a weekly book. There's thousands of them out there. It's $4.99 cover B. Like, if you like it, get it graded, but not because you want to try to flip it. That's a bad idea.
Yeah,
I've turned people off that thousands, hundreds of times. Right,
Jesse, have you ever graded a Super Pro?
Graded, I'm like, okay, I'll submit it for you. No problem.
No, absolutely not. But I did hit 1,300 copies a couple of days ago, so I am celebrating 1,300 copies of NFL Super Pro #1s. I am stoked, man.
I've got a stack you'll never own, Jesse.
And then just to kind of go back to what Dennis was saying about that collection that came in, some retailers have not, in my opinion, did not handle their selling of those covers very well. If you can't sell a book for $14.99 one day, and then the very next day put them on sale for buy 3 get 3 free, and then they're all on sale, and you're dumping the books, and then that's how you get into a position like certain retailers did. There are other retailers. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Sean. Should a publisher have a MSRP on an exclusive?
On an exclusive?
Yep. So would they say, listen, we'll sell you exclusive. You just can't go under $10.
No.
So with that said, he can sell that book for whatever he wants.
Yeah, he can.
Yep.
Whether it hurts his business or not, he can sell it for wherever he wants to. It's his rights, free country.
The sad thing is that we're all in this business together, and it's an ecosystem.
True. And
bad players hurt it all the time.
Yes, I say that all the time. You're correct. There are bad actors in this 100%.
Right.
And Dennis got a great collection for a great price that he's going to be able to sell for probably some good money. If he does the right thing with those books, he'll probably quadruple the money he paid for those if he sells them the right way. Obviously, he knows how to sell comics, right? So
So let me ask Sean one more question. So you do a lot of conventions, and you see the guy across the way, and he's got $2 books, right? He's got 10 $2 book long boxes on Saturday, but Sunday he's got them for $1. Is he doing a disservice there by dropping them $1 to the people that bought them on Saturday that bought them for $2?
No, because those are leftovers. I do it all the time. I'll do buy 2 get 1 free, and then Sunday it's buy 1 get 1 free.
Right. So what was wrong with the guy going from $14.95 down to $8.95?
Well, if you're trying to, you're talking different things. You're talking back issues. You're talking exclusives.
I'm talking comic books.
But there's different kinds of comics. You're not gonna do it. There's Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern.
Every situation is different, man.
Yeah.
But
do you have partners on it? Do you have partners on it?
But hold on. A store does not do a Golden Age, Silver Age exclusive.
So you can't put a paintbrush and paint it for all sales to be the same. I sell my weekly books much different than I sell my exclusives.
Yeah, but Sean, don't you?
That's incorrect, because we're talking about margins. Do you not understand what I'm asking? So if a book is $14.95 as the exclusive, but he paid $5 for it, we're just talking about margins, right?
Okay.
That's how everything is done. Margins, churn rate, sell through, right?
Or volume.
Right? And volume, but that's
one or the other. Yeah.
So my question is, if you say, well, the guy did his business wrong from 14 and then the next day does it for $8.95, but he's still making a profit, isn't that okay for that business?
No, because you're hurting your brand by doing that.
You are.
That's what I said. It's okay for anybody to do anything they want to. It's a free country, but there are consequences.
Exactly. So it
The
hurts your brand.
consequence would be, like Brian just said, you're hurting your brand. You're losing trust in your customers. You're training your customers to not buy it when it comes out. You're training them to wait 3 days till it goes on sale.
1,000% there, brother.
There's all kinds of bad things. The guy that takes his comics at $2 and sells them for $1 Sunday, you're running the risk of, hey, every year I go to this con, this guy's gonna know I just gotta wait till Sunday. They're gonna be half price.
Right.
Okay.
Plus the you have the artist that worked on that cover.
Right.
And you start running that price down, then the value of having him do the cover.
Yeah, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I truly believe who Sean is talking about is not doing a good service to his customer base or the industry or the publisher
or the industry.
The creator.
I've thrown many fits about that. Like I've looked at many retailers' websites, gotten their emails, seeing what they're doing, and I'm jumping up and down screaming, what are you doing? You're fucking this up for everybody else.
Yep.
Like you're ruining it for the customers. You're destroying. And there's a couple companies out there where I feel like a couple in particular had a major hand in doing major damage to the retailer exclusive market for years. Major hand in decimating it almost. When you're just pumping out cover after cover after cover, regardless of quality, regardless of what they look like, just to hit streaks, just to hit this.
Yep.
And then you're dumping them over and over and over again. The date of release, it's buy 3, get 3 free, or it's 98% off. Like it's crazy.
So there are other that cash flow model we talked about early before the show started when we were talking.
Right. And my whole point
you gotta sell everything to move the next one.
Sure. And my question was, would a publisher who is selling to that person who is pumping and dumping, do they have any responsibility in that to maintain the value of that comic book? Or is it, hey, we're just making money and we're getting that extra 1,000 print or run?
No, I don't think so. In a perfect world, you would think maybe, but that's almost impossible to police. I have enough trouble if I do a shared exclusive and I set a minimum price. I have a hard enough time chasing the guys that are selling the book that I shared to make sure they're hitting their minimum price and not doing free shipping on eBay, all this other weird stuff. It's a whole nother universe. But in a perfect world, that'd be nice. But at the same time, you got guys that everyone's trying to find the next cool thing to sell that book, right? I'm going to destroy 2,900 copies of this and limit it to only 100. And they're going to be $300 each. And they're going to come with a bar of gold with them or some weird shit, they're always trying to do some kind of gimmick to do something with those retailer exclusives. And that's where Brian talks about the trust factor, right? Like we can get into this is a whole topic for the show.
That's a comment in the chat. Do you work with 616 Comics and the reputation they have?
We'll
talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it. What's the reputation 616 has? Do they dump their books?
No. Here's the hold on here. Here's the reputation 616 has. 616 has a reputation of being a little hot-headed and breaking and having relationships falter with people in the industry. Now, listen, that's a lot of people. Here's something interesting. I might have John from 616 on the show at some time to talk to him about what he thinks about that reputation that he has. And give him the chance to maybe to talk about that. But at the same time, that's the reputation that I've talked about that he has on the show. Sean might have a different reputation with him, and I'll let him talk about that.
So here's what I would say. Let's just say everything is true, and John has a terrible reputation as he's hot-headed, short-fused, will blow up a relationship if he doesn't like it. Okay, that's personal. People say Steve Jobs was a giant asshole, but he created $1 billion empire. So 616, the guy may be rough around the edges for some people to handle. I personally consider John a friend. We had a bit of a falling out a couple years ago. We've reconciled, and we have great long conversations. We have so much in common. He's a good dude. He's just like anybody else. If you're loyal to me, that's cool. If not, if you screw me over, screw you. But that's personal though. We're talking about the industry. He doesn't dump his books. No. He doesn't do look at his website. When's
He's
the
a
last time
very
616 ever did a
he's a
sale? He
big
doesn't.
retailer that does very well, and he has got a great eye for artists. And I'll say that honestly.
You're absolutely right. And right now, 616 is, as far as retail exclusives go, like him or hate him for whatever he is, John is the top of the hill when it comes to retailer exclusives. He's doing more than anybody else is. He's paying his bills. He's not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Emmett, his cash flow is solid, like we talked about. He's doing it the right way. He keeps asking me, he's like, he tried to buy back some of his own covers I bought from him the other day because he sold out. He's like, I can't keep enough inventory in stock.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
he's killing it with the stuff that he does. And I've been very honest and transparent about what I've heard about 616 around here, and the reason why I talk about his reputation. And it's not because he doesn't sell books and he doesn't have a good eye for art and that type of stuff. It's because he's a little hot-headed, and he breaks up a lot of relationships that he has. Other than that, he's done everything well. That being said, I want to switch real quick. I
just wanted to say, Brian, that's what I wanted to hear, because I don't think I've ever said 616 without you immediately replying, like, oh, the fucker. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's 616. Yeah, this is a great book, but I wouldn't buy from 616. I say that quite often. Yep.
Yep. And that's where I think that, and there is a mute button, by the way, Sean.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was way far enough. My bad.
I tried to grab my Kleenex to sneeze earlier, and I missed it by half a second. But
I'm the new guy here. I will do.
Hey, don't worry. We have farting noises that for
that's why I brought this up, because there are so many 616s, unknown comics.
Nothing is black and white. Everything's a nuance, man.
Yeah. But when I start to see this first crumble, that's one of their customers that came into me and said, I'm done, and I don't care what I get because nobody wants this crap.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when I start seeing the cracks.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, can you show Emmett's Instagram and stop it at the feet?
At the feet?
Yeah.
A lot of that too, Dennis. Oh, sorry.
What did I have on my Instagram?
Because I go to wherever
my personal one, or
that one that you were showing the guy with the crack case. Because I remember watching Sean doing his first shows.
Uh-oh.
And Sean would walk across and you would see his feet. And this guy is doing the same exact thing in the video. So
I don't know what you're talking about. Which one are you talking about?
Video
not mine. That video we showed earlier, where the guy,
where his
cases were open. That one.
Yeah. So if you go to the beginning, I want to show you how much Sean has evolved.
Well, this isn't Sean, but
I know that's not Sean.
I don't know what Jesse's talking about. Did I miss a whole conversation?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Right there.
Yeah. So
when
Sean first started doing his live shows back in 2016, he would walk across the floor and you'd see his feet. Just a reminder of how much you have grown.
Well, this is a perfect little
Tarantino. Most of us don't pay attention to feet.
Yeah. This is a little Segoo, and this gives us a little moment to talk about Sean, because not everybody knows who Sean is. They know who Dennis is, they know who Jesse is, they know who Emmett is, they know who I am, but they might not necessarily know Sean. And I want to give them a little info. Let's give them a little bit of your background, Sean, and how you've come into this industry and where you come from. If you don't mind us, maybe doing that shortly here. Let's talk about where you come from before comics. What was your life like before comics? You getting into the comic industry?
Well, I was in the Marine Corps. That was my whole life. 24 years in the Marine Corps. I retired. I was in the infantry. I did communications repair, and then I went on recruiting duty. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Loved talking to kids about the Marine Corps. We're so passionate about it. That's when I really learned. I was always been a hustler, but I really learned sales there. And I'd go to Comic Cons and just make a Facebook post. Facebook was still pretty new. There weren't even groups were new at the time back then. I would just post on Facebook, here's some stuff that I did. And then people would message me, hey, can I get this? Can I get that? Pick me up one of those. That quickly blew into, why don't I just go live at this guy's booth? And I'm doing this while I'm in the Marine Corps still. I got offered a last promotion I could have gone for E9, Master Gunnery Sergeant. And when I did the math and did the numbers, I was making way more just hustling on the side. So I decided to retire. And then I retired in 2016, and that's when I started Comics Elite, was same time.
And here's the funny thing, because the story here's how I remember first hearing about Sean and him being in the comics industry. It was actually kind of through Jesse, because Jesse had started doing eBay or Facebook Live, and him and Jesse seemed to be like the two guys who were the only two guys that I remember doing these Facebook Live sales. And Sean, it's exactly what Sean is talking about is true. He would go to these cons and he would be, basically live selling from these cons through Facebook Marketplace. One of the first people to ever actually, do it. I think you and Jesse always talk about you maybe did it on the same day, or what is the story on this?
He beat me by an hour, and I'll admit it. He was the first person to go by an hour. So we're the two godfathers of live streaming for comics. And bottom line, let's not worry about that hour in between. So
it was quite a time. I tell you would go to these guys' booths. I would go live within 5-10 seconds. I'd have 100 some viewers, and the comments are just flying. And I'm at these guys' booths going, I need one of those. I need 2 of these. Can I get 3 of these? And they're like, what do I do with them? Just put them in a pile. And they're like, do you want a total? I'm like, we'll get it at the end. 4 of those, 2 of these. Can I see Prince again? What's on that back table? Let me see his OA. And then I would end it. I would have to go back and rewatch the sale to remember who to bill. And I look at the artist and be like, can you give me a total? And they're like, you're at like $6,000. What's your PayPal? And they're like, and I just PayPal them the money. And they're like, who is this guy? And then word got around very quick. And they're like, I'd have people come up to me and be like, hey, are you the guy that does Facebook? Are you Sean? Yeah. Hey, can you come stream at my booth? And then have a list. And it was insane. And then I hired an employee to help me and another guy to help me. And it was crazy. Since then, the algorithm has changed. If I went live now on Facebook, I'd have like 10 viewers, because it's a pay to play on Facebook now. Whatnot, it's almost the same, it feels like, anymore. But it was a different time. It was a different time. And there was a lot of money. That's back when you could sell a print for $20. Like a print, 11x17 print was $20. Like, it was crazy. Variants weren't really that big of a thing at the time. The agents weren't really around that much. The reps weren't really that big of a thing. It was pretty crazy.
How was it? What was it that caused you to get into the publishing thing? Because you made this huge jump into the publishing world, which is crazy.
I think it was 2022 or 2021, one of those years. I think it was 2022. Me and Darren from Unknown Comics, either me or him, just like me and Jesse, it's by one, we don't know, by one cover or not. We did the most DC variants that year of everybody. And I did the most Dynamite variants that year. I did more than anybody. I crushed them. And then I just got tired of being told no by the publishers. Nope, she's too. I literally had DC tell me for Nathan Zerdy's cover, no, she's too pretty, make her less pretty. And I'm like, it wasn't like, oh, her boobs are too big or she's too sexy. It's like, she's too pretty. I was like, are you kidding me? I just got tired of being told what to do on covers. And at the time I was working with Marat Michaels a ton, doing Hardly Thins and Do You Poos and Naughty and Nice covers. They were just blowing up. And I was like, how hard is it to make my own comic? Like, there's a little more in between there. I got in bed with this guy Faro from Faro's Lounge. I regret that to this day.
Yeah,
I put him on the map, which is I'm so sorry that happened. I apologize to everybody for working with that guy. And I was like, finally one day during COVID, I'm driving out to meet Jamie Tyndall. We would meet in between St. Louis and Indianapolis in Illinois, and we're just shooting he signed a bunch of books for me, and I drive back. we're shooting the shit, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool? You know, have those conversations. Wouldn't it be cool if this existed? Wouldn't it be cool if that happened? And we're talking about, wouldn't it be cool? And I just looked at him and I was like, why don't we just do this? Like, why don't we just make the comic? Like, I know artists, I know writers, blah, blah, blah. And that's how Merc was born. And then I came up with Death Rage and Catfight, and Jamie came up with Miss Meow, and I decided to do Born of Blood, and we just added all these characters, and Merc Publishing came about, and then we got approved to go into Lunar before Image was in there. So we published everything in Lunar. I got tired of paying big printing invoices, so I started a printing company to print my own comics too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, you know.
I think one of the and I've talked to the guys, or not talked to the guys. I've talked about this on the show, but I've talked to you about this. I think there was a moment where I remember kind of how I gained a lot of respect for you, and I saw you and your business in a different light. And this was a big moment that happened not too long ago, and we talked about it on the show, and that was the whole Unknown Comics thing. And you broke down this game that is played with retailers that do retailer exclusives, and how and you showed it, all the troubles you went through, and you were very transparent, and you put your mistakes that you've made on display for everybody, which is something, you know, that's very respectful to do, and say, hey, I've messed up, don't mess up here. It's almost like I give Dennis all the credit in the world for what he talks about, which he got from his mentor, where share your information freely. That's so important. And you showing, hey, these are all the mistakes that I made with these predatory lending things that you, as a new retailer, which we're seeing right now. We're seeing this big, huge jump in new retailers, and especially with this Absolute Batman stuff, where, you know, we got this new wave of retailers coming into the game that could be, you know, fall prey to these predatory lending practices because of how things work. And I thought that was very interesting. And it said a lot about your journey in this industry. I think that most people in the industry that have been here a long time have kind of gone through this phase where they have to start over, or they have to pull their bootstraps up and figure it out. I don't know about Emmett, but I know definitely I've heard stories from Dennis and Jesse about that in their career, where they've had to pull their bootstraps up and change things. Maybe they've had to close a store. Maybe they've had to do this. You know, that is very important. And I think for the industry to hear that is a big deal. You know.
Yeah, I've had so many failures. You know, the road to success, it's not a destination. Success isn't a destination, it's a journey, and it's riddled with potholes and failures. And every one of the guys in this chat can tell you that. I'm not telling you. They failed more times than I have, I promise you that, and they're still standing. That's why they're still standing. You know, success is overcoming those failures, not quitting. That's how you become a success. And every one of these guys in this room is a testament to riding the waves and resilience, fortitude, sleepless nights, tears, sweat, fights with your wife, kids, employees, yourself, pushing through all that in order
Waking
to
up in the store.
you know, pushing through that to get there. It's nuts. It's nuts. So, you know, it's the good retailers can ride those waves, and I love sharing my knowledge. I've mentored and talked to and helped many people. I think I have helped many people. Some listen, some don't, you know.
I'm curious. I'm curious, how much did your printer cost? If you don't mind saying.
The first printer we got was about 70,000, and we were oversold, under-delivered. Got ripped off by the salesman on that one. Should have seen it coming. Being a master sales trainer, I should have saw it. It was a Canon. Next one we got was a Konica. That one was about 250,000. And then we just got an offline sorter, offline finisher. Sorry, that was about 160,000. Not to mention cutters, heat presses, printers, racks, special electrical lines being ran. It's insane the amount of money.
What's your maintenance cost?
There's a per click cost for the printer, so that's how the maintenance plans work. So every time a piece of paper runs through that machine, you're paying either anywhere from 4 to 6. I've heard people paying up to 9 cents. So if you hit print and it gets a bunch of jams in it, you're ripping those out. You're still paying for those clicks. So you got to fight those companies to get those credits back. And the computers keep track of all that stuff. It's pretty crazy how it works. I tell everybody. I had a guy tell me, "I'm going to make my own printing company." I was like, "No, don't do it. What are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you?" And even now that our sales have been not as big as they were, so now I was my printer's main client. So
that was my next question.
My printing manager is reaching out to find other clients. We haven't really tried to find other clients, and I've had great mentors. John at Artist Express, one of the best mentors, and he mentored me to lose my business, like huge feather in this guy's hat. He mentored me knowing he was going to lose one of his biggest clients. I was paying this guy massive invoices, and he knew he was losing me, but he helped me anyway. Like, it's huge feather in this guy's hat.
That's one
Just
of the
like
things,
Brian,
man. Yeah, share your information
they're-
freely and mentor people. That's the best thing you could do. That mentorship is so important on every level, especially with men. Like, you know what I mean? Like that mentorship is so important.
I could go on and on, but I've lost in the last 10 years, I've lost 9 friends to unaliving themselves. Like that's what you say on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
They've unalived themselves. Everyone's been military, everyone's been Marine Corps. And because they're not talking, they can't deal with the stress, the pressure, it's marital problems, whatever. Dude's not talking.
Civilian life.
Not that I'm trying to belittle that, Sean, but one of the shout outs that I wanted to give tonight is one of my buddies was in the chat earlier, and he gave me a great message, and it goes right along with this. So he was the creator of the Wayne County Internet Task Force back when computer crimes against children was very fresh and new. And he and his partner, I actually went to college with him, and he and his partner who collected comic books came into my store, and it was like, oh shit, I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy. And they asked to use my Wi-Fi to set up stings before Wi-Fi was readily available. He retired because it was very, very arduous on his mind. PTSD, looking at the shit that's in like the Epstein files, etc.
Fuck that.
And he retired, but he actually, and I told him he needed a dude, but he knew he needed to do this. He went back out and put his hat back in the ring a couple years ago to start teaching the next generation of guys to do what he did. And the reason I bring this up, he sent me a text message today that I just got goosebumps. One of the guys he taught last year how to break apart tech and get into the smallest parts is the guy who just cracked the Nest camera for that Nancy Guthrie
that's cool.
kidnapping. And
That's
that was
cool.
one of his students from a year ago.
Wow.
Oh, that's very cool.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
And
cool.
but for what the stress goes, it's I kind of remember the line from Full Metal Jacket. As long as somebody keeps throwing grenades at Animal Mother, he'll be a fine, upstanding citizen. There's just certain times that you can't unplug from certain things like that. And my buddy, he tried to unplug from that, but I think he knew that there was still stuff he had to do, and that he couldn't fully unplug because he's gone through a lot of depression as well.
It's so important. Like dudes need other not to get on a whole tangent here, but dudes need other dudes to talk to them.
Yep.
To a little bit of friendly bullying them a little bit, right? Like dudes need other dudes to be brutally honest with
Call
somebody.
them on their shit. Yeah.
Call them on their shit. If you're being a lazy turd, someone needs to be like, hey man, you need to step it up.
Fuck up. Yeah.
I always tell people all the time, man, don't tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Exactly.
So I can get better.
That's why the comic book industry has struggles, because there is no set way to do this business. in any way, shape, or form. Everybody,
Yeah.
it's the wild, wild west. You don't get your feet held to the fire in this industry. Do whatever you want.
Shout out to
Well,
Sleepy
there's too
Pimp
many-
Daddy who says that's why a community like this is so important for us. Amen. That's the whole.
Agreed.
I mean, listen, man. That's I've talked about it with the whole Sorenfest thing. I've talked about it with why this content channel and the reason I do content. It's that fellowship. You know, we've lost a lot of that fellowship with what happened in the world, you know, in 2020, where we all kind of got isolated, and it's hard for us to break out of that mode. We're still stuck in that mode, and the fellowship is the important thing. And now, yeah, maybe I don't have the same fellowship I had before then, where it was in person, it was at the comic shop, it was maybe at the bar when I was, you know, spending time out there, or I was at events or at work. The fellowship now is here. It's this that we're doing right now, and it's creating the community that we create.
I wouldn't be where I am without mentors I've had telling me trade secrets, calling me on my bullshit, telling me, you know, the biggest thing I've learned really in this industry is put your effing ego away.
Yep.
Put your ego away. I don't care whose logo's on the back of the book. I don't give a crap whose logo's on the back of the book. It's my store exclusive. Bro, news alert. Nobody cares whose store exclusive it is. No one cares.
Do you want your cut or do you want your symbol there?
Yep.
I want.
I will.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly. I will tell you, no one has called up and said, "Hey, can I get the Jesse James Comics Bob's Burger exclusive?" They said, "Hey, I heard you got the Bob's Burger exclusive. I'll take it." They don't care about my name.
Yeah. I say the same thing. As long as you'll give me $14.99 for the book, I don't care who logo's on the back.
Exactly.
I want to, before we get into pickups, we're going to get into pickups in a second, because we got some pickups that we're going to run through quickly, because it's almost a 4-hour show tonight. It was a great show tonight, by the way, you guys. I want to run through this really quickly, because this is something that I saw that I wanted to get your guys' take on, because this could be something very interesting and have some interesting effects on the collectibles industry. And that is the news that Goodwill is now selling on eBay Live.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Now
I can't even find them on eBay. I wanted to buy shit from them, and I can't find
them. So, you know, again, Goodwill has been selling on eBay for a long time, just not under the Goodwill name, right? They've been using another name to do this. Listen, it's a great source. They take what comes in, they separate. If you go in the back, you will see that they separate all the good stuff into these bins. So someone comes in, they drop off 20 things, their expert comes out, they grab 10 things to go into the store, which is medium price, low price stuff. The high-end stuff goes into these separate boxes, which goes into their platforms that sell separately. They've been doing this for decades.
Well, not only that, they are now sending emails on what stuff for them to look for when they come in, as to take it off the shelves and put it in their eBay Live sales. So I don't know about you guys, but I watch a ton of content creators who spend time at Goodwill. This is how they make their money. They go in and they find old jeans, different crystal, different collectibles. Like, this is a big part of that market. And our whole collectible market, like, there needs to be a place where people can go and find this stuff. Flea markets, Goodwill, garage sales.
Goodwill's going to be done.
But now Goodwill is being taken out of that world, that you know, those levels, and people aren't going to be making money in there. Goodwill is going to be making all the money there. And this is very.
I don't have a problem with that.
I disagree with that 100%. I go to Goodwill. I have a Goodwill 5 minutes one way, 5 minutes the other way. I go to the first one in the morning, other one at night. Every day, 7 days a week. Me and Shannon go. We have never left without buying at least 15 to 20 items. They're not going to catch everything. Our job is to go and find the best stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like someone's roaming the thing. And even the 10 items they're pulling, they're not looking at the plushie that comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
The
So
problem is
that's
that
not
they're gonna-
true.
The
That's
apps,
not-
the apps are getting better and better.
But that's not true, because what this is telling us is Goodwill is sending that information now to those employees. This is what you want to look for. This is what's collectible. This is what you will now pull and put on eBay Live.
Brian, what you're saying, what Jesse is saying, is as good as they are, it's only as good as the employees that they have attempting to do this.
Yep.
I got you.
Okay. We've all gone to really good dealers' booths at conventions and flipped through their dollar box and was like, were you high when you went through this?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take this $20 book for $1. I'll take this $20 book for $1. You know, it's
I still
only as
want
good.
$1 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Action
All
Figure Authorium says, Brian, they've been doing this for years. The eBay thing is new. And that's what I'm saying. The eBay thing is the
eBay
part.
Live is new.
The eBay Live
they used to have
part
their
is
own website.
Yes, they still do. But it doesn't mean that they know that they're sending a list to all these people saying, hey, this is what you need to start looking for now, and you're gonna pull 50 items a day to put on eBay Live.
My Goodwill last week had a stack of comics, and I flipped through it, and all the books were $5 and $10 each.
Yep.
And I flipped through the whole stack, and it was modern Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, and I'm like, who the hell do they think they are? Me?
Yeah. What's funny is all three of my pickups today are from Goodwill this morning.
Hey, technically one of my pickups is from Goodwill.
Well, let's get into it.
I don't know how you guys have time. How do you guys have time to go to Goodwill?
They make time
because we don't have to sell new comic books.
Because they don't have to print stuff.
It's only 5 minutes away for him.
Yeah,
mine is 35 minutes away from me.
I got a Goodwill outlet that I pass on the way to my printing business, which is 5 minutes down the street. I don't even have time to go there.
You need to start making
4
time.
minutes. 4 minutes to run through. You should know where to walk through. So
All right, Jesse, you're up first,
I can do it in like 4 or 5 minutes.
We're gonna let Dennis go last because Dennis has a good pickup story to end on.
So
You know, Dennis, I've never heard a comic shop talk so much shit about selling new books. Just saying.
So this was
you
my
haven't
first pickup.
you haven't found the secret yet.
I think I found the secret, brother.
Yeah.
Is that the
There you
TV van or is that the?
That's the pizza shooting van. So it shoots pizza.
My brother had that as a kid.
Yep. So I picked up that this morning.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I still
I
have
think
stickers
that's a
on it too.
repro though, Jesse. I think that's the one that came out after.
2012.
Yeah. Okay.
Nickelodeon. Yeah, still good. Still good.
No, it's still great. Yeah.
Oh, my brother had the original, not that one.
Does it smell like sadness?
You know, what's funny is I have to stop doing my smell test during my live shows because I do smell tests on Golden Age and Silver Age books. And I had a book last night that almost knocked me out. So, but I literally almost passed out. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're okay? Oh, you're okay?" I'm like, "Just give me a minute to catch my breath." Then I walk over to the DVD counter and they have Shogun Assassin.
Oh, very cool.
This is the banned version. So it is bloody. And the reason why it's banned is because this kid kills more people than the guy. And he's just a baby. He's like 6 years old and he's cutting off people's heads and all this stuff. And then he has like machine guns in his carriage. So he's just like mowing down people.
Probably
Very
not
awesome.
in that movie.
Yeah, exactly. Then, so I picked up this and I paid a little bit more than normally what I would at a Goodwill, but I did pick up this for $40.
Nice.
Oh
I had
yeah.
one of those.
Great.
Sweet.
Yep.
So I picked up.
I sell those for $100 loose in my stores.
Yep.
Never been open. So apparently those eBay employees did not get the email from Goodwill. So,
I didn't get the memo yet.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
There you
That
go.
it?
That's my pickups.
Emmett.
That's
Oh,
sweet.
no, I got one more book.
Oh, wait, hold
And
on.
then I finally did get.
Ooh,
Justice
I love that.
League.
The test logo.
Yeah, I got the test logo in this morning from the customer.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, folks, look for this test logo.
Only two books
they're
with
only
it.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's only 3 books. It only lasted
Two.
2 books. It only
Justice
lasted
League
2
and
months.
Superman.
Yeah,
right?
and that was it.
And it was an absolute shit logo, and they decided properly to get rid of it.
Amen. Amen, brother. Yeah. All right, Emmett.
All right. So these aren't too new, but I just found the box they were in. I bought a bunch of Hollywood stuff.
Ooh, I love old school 40s and 30s and 20s Hollywood stuff.
This
It's
is
not-
press
it's
kits. This
just
is
'cause it looks-
90s press kits.
Yeah.
80s, 90s.
Oh, okay, it's 90s.
Oh, there you
Cage,
go. Yep.
Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage
Nick
with his
Cage.
original hair
Yeah. Oh, come on. There. Oh,
upside down.
there we go. And
Is
it's
that Lethal
it's-
Weapon 2 or 3?
No, it's where he's
No.
the angel, Los Angeles, City of
Oh,
Angels.
City of Angels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a great Meg Ryan photo in here when she was just
Smoking hot.
smoke
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Major
Right.
smoke show.
So I got a bunch of those photos, but the big one is, I guess this came from a collection of a journalist, and this is the Escape from LA. This is the press kit,
Yep.
but it has
The little film things in
yeah,
them, right?
the slides.
Yeah,
The slides are
yeah.
here, but it has all the interviews with all the people.
Hmm.
So he had an interview with Kurt Russell, and then it has the full interview he typed out, and it has all the questions that banter back and forth, and everybody else he interviewed in the movie. Plus, like, he got a bio sheet for Kurt Russell, like when he was born, where he was born,
Yeah.
all this stuff, so the guy could ask intelligent questions. That's still in there. And then, of course, it has the photos, but it also has, I don't know.
All right.
There we go.
I'll have to bring it
Oh,
next
that's
time
cool.
I come across it in my warehouse. I'll have to bring it.
I don't know how much these are. I don't even know how to value this.
Yeah.
They only go for 30 or 40 bucks.
Yeah, I was gonna
from
say
that era.
$40 is what we charge for ours. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also
I
got
have
the kids.
but if just so you know, if you grade it,
the kids are all right.
Oh,
The Who
nice.
movie
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
also
yeah.
had those.
So, guys, I got to tell you the best press kit I own. I own the original Evil Dead press kit.
Oh,
But
nice.
it wasn't just any Evil Dead press kit. It was the marketing manager for the entire press tour. And it has notes about Ted Raimi, Bruce Campbell, who was doing what interviews as they took them all around Detroit
Oh,
to do
very
all
cool.
the initial interviews.
Very
So
cool.
it's the Evil Dead press kit.
That's got to be worth some money.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool to have.
Is that it, Emmett?
Yeah, they're just a lot of fun. I have
Not
I have
bad, bro.
stacks and stacks of them. I'm not gonna show.
That's
Like
cool.
I bought like a lot.
Nice.
I just realized that Emmett is joining us in astral form. He's really home sleeping, but he's projecting himself.
Right.
All right, Sean, you're up, brother.
Well, this is for Emmett. I got some monsters glow in the darks back. So
9.6.
Wow,
Yeah, so-
what happened?
That?
well, there's a crease down the middle of all these books.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so they
So-
didn't. So I
Yeah,
thought, John,
So
go
I
ahead.
thought printing errors were not marked down.
no, so that's a well, okay. So I had these all submitted at a 9.6 pre-screen. So I said, don't grade anything lower than a 9.6. And as you know, I bought one or two of these blind bags. So I had just a couple of those to submit. I submitted probably 20 of these, and I got 3 back in 9.6 out of 20.
That's why I left CBCS last year.
Not a single 9.8.
Yep.
That's
Not
the
a single
foil, right?
9.8.
That's the
Well,
foil?
they were graded accurately.
Can
I
we?
mean,
Yeah, can we be honest about that? Yeah, they were 100% graded accurately. I'd rather have them grade accurately and not
Yeah.
have a ton of 9.8s out there than
I-
then be okay with a printer error.
Brian,
You saw
I
how many-
submitted my last submission with them was 30 red hood pressed 9.8 tap-ins, and they gave me 6 9.8s
Yeah,
and rejected all of the rest.
yeah.
What was the reason?
Yeah, there was. They don't give you a reason when they rejected 9.8.
Well, they must have rejected them because they weren't 9.8s.
Oh yeah, because CBCS is infallible. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, so you got mad and you didn't get your grades and you threw a fit and left.
You probably spent more
It was-
grading monsters than
It was
I
your
spent in
reason to
comics
leave,
last quarter.
and now you're
It was
grading with PSA.
Yes, it was the straw that broke the camel's back, Sean.
What is
You'll
that?
understand that someday.
Gunslinger?
What is
Yeah,
that? Is
I
that
don't
the?
understand
Is
that.
that
I don't
just the?
understand
Is
that,
that the
Dennis. You're right.
sketch? Hold
The
on.
1 in
Is that the
1,000.
sketch?
It's the 1 in 1,000.
Okay.
That's
Did you get a sketch?
I did. I got Jason Sean
Alexander.
Alexander.
That's a good
Right.
sketch, but damn it, man,
That's a great sketch.
those McFarlane sketches were so fucking good.
I know. I haven't. I'm 0 for 2 on McFarlane sketches.
Oh. Have you guys
But-
had the rest of you guys had Jesse, Dennis, and Emmett? Have you guys seen the McFarlane sketches of these?
No.
They're so good.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it on the thing.
Oh my god, they're
Oh, I got
Yeah,
one.
we
of those,
know. We
yeah.
saw that last week, Jesse.
I know.
Put it
I'm
away.
just showing it again.
That's one of the 250s, right? One of the 250s. I saw a dude sell one of the 250s. Like Whatnot's crazy. Like one of the 250. Not this is 1 in 1,000. One of the limited 250s. You can buy them on eBay for like $250. He put it on Whatnot. Started at $2. It sold for $390.
Wow.
Pyramid scheme.
I was like, "What pyramid scheme? What?
Nah,
What are you talking about?"
nah.
Go ahead.
Dennis, man.
The thing is that nobody
going.
is. So the ones from
So you
Whatnot-
sit through Emmett calling CG or grading a scam, but me saying pyramid scheme on propping up all of this, and you have to call that out. Got it. Go ahead, Sean.
I literally don't understand what you mean by pyramid scheme. What's a
Okay.
pyramid scheme?
As
Whatnot?
long as you stay at the top of the pyramid, you are the
No, but
profiter.
what's a
As long
pyramid
as you're-
scheme? Whatnot or the image
Whatnot.
variant?
Yeah, Whatnot grading. I don't understand what you're calling a
All
pyramid.
of the above.
All of the above. Okay.
No, my question is the
So the whole. I'm sorry. I go ahead, Emmett. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I
Do
think
you even watch the show, Sean?
No,
yeah,
watch the
he
show.
does. He's
I-
usually in the chat.
Yes.
So I just sometimes I watch the show. I have to turn it off because I'm screaming at my phone in bed and waking up my wife.
Just like Philip
I just-
Sablik.
Yeah.
You got in the
Yeah,
comment.
I don't like the entire industry is a pyramid scheme. Like I don't understand.
Oh my God. Well, get over it, Sean. Keep
What are
going.
you talking about?
You're the one that
Okay,
said
are we
pyramid
stopping?
scheme.
Are we
Okay,
stopping the show?
Sean, do you have any more
to
pickups?
extrapolate?
No, those are my pickups. I have. Well, I don't know if they're pickups. They're just stuff that came in.
My question was, how do you get the sketch? So it was you bought 1,000, got the 1 in 1,000, but how did
You order 1,000 and you get a sketch. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I
Yep.
only did that on the King Spawn. And they
Yeah, it
weren't
was
giving
King
sketches.
Spawn and Gunslinger, and it's going to be on Scorched also.
Oh, at the,
This is
at
the
when it
for,
hits
for
the
those
bird
of you guys
number?
that haven't seen those McFarlane sketches that he offered. Let me show you these.
How did I miss him?
Bro,
doing
these
this?
sketches are fucking amazing.
Yeah, those
He
are
took way
crazy.
more time with these than he
Yep.
did anything else.
Yep. He did it. He's been doing them since December.
Right.
So
we
good.
will have to talk about what he said next week because it's
Yes. We'll
really
get into
late.
it deeper. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get into it deeper next week. But yeah, I mean, he really spent some time with these and he
Yeah.
fucking nailed it.
I mean, every one of those should be a cover.
Yes.
Every one.
There might be like 2 or 3 where I'm like, maybe he kind of, but like, look at that. That's fucking Jesus.
Remember when
Every
Greg
single one of these.
Capullo used
Look
to
at
do
that.
these at
Yeah, look at
conventions?
that.
Yeah.
He would do
Look at that
just
clown.
250
Clown
for his
is
first
awesome.
250 people.
Yeah,
Look at that
that's
clown.
great.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're all just amazing. So congratulations. All right, Dennis, you got the big one. You ready?
Well,
You
hold
have
on.
it?
We got to do pickups before we do that.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
we
what we're
just
talking about.
did. That's what we're doing.
I know, but you want me to go to the giant one? That's not a pickup. That's a going out.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So let's
Yeah.
do it.
So today I had, that came in, but it's like a $50 to $100 card. So, but it's going off to get graded. So I had a giant one-piece card get pulled by one of my customers in Toledo, and he decided to bring it in and sell it to me. So if you guys know One Piece is the hottest TCG right now. I'm not 100% like going all in on it, but this card is just mama enough to make me sink a couple $100 into it.
I remember 2 weeks ago when Emmett and Dennis said that One Piece wasn't that big of a deal.
That's right. But this is the top card that you can
2 weeks
pull.
later.
Yeah.
This is the top card you can pull from the newest set. And the top card usually is what everybody gravitates towards. I have a pair of shoes, Brian, if you could pull up that picture in our group.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Jones, what is yours from Goodwill soon becomes mine. I got a package in the mail today from my good friend Jesse James. And
you bought those.
Yeah.
The Back to the Future shoes are mine.
No way.
Yep.
Those are cool as shit.
Yeah, and they plug in too, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I bought
plug them into
those,
your
but
phone.
now to the I think I've shown it on here a couple times, and I've mentioned it in the chats a couple times. So Invincible: The Return is one of the hottest books in the Invincible run. A lot of retailers didn't order a lot of them. I bought the original, and it's kind of a double-sided. He drew the preliminaries twice. And a longer story short, I told his wife I'm going to buy that. I gave her the money. She pulled it out and put a Post-it note for Dennis. And when Darwin came back and I was gone, Darwin decided to personalize the original art to Dennis rather than just Darwin Cook. So I've had this in my personal collection forever. Darwin passed away.
Great
and
guy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it online, and a fan of our show contacted me on one of my YouTube videos and said, "Hey, I really want that." I said, "Hey, call this number." And we negotiated it today. He paid for it right before the show. And inexplicably to me, he says he loves watching the show with his 11-year-old son. So now I have to watch my language.
I will not be watching my language. Heads up.
Yeah.
So yes, but yes, this piece is going to one of the fans of the show.
That's awesome.
Congratulations
cool.
to both of
Fucking
you.
A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge congrats to
That's
both.
such a
That's great.
major fucking key piece.
I mean,
So
just
this
look
is
how
the
beautiful that is.
preliminary. Is there another one that's the actual original art, or
I've never seen it. I've owned this piece for almost 12 or 13 years.
Yeah.
you know, here's what we got to do. Calling Big Clutch. Do you know if there's original art for this, or if this is the only art that is out there? Let's see if he finds out. We'll have to wait to find out. That'll take some time to get to him.
And this
Probably a couple
piece is
days.
actually not on the board. It's a bigger than the board piece. So it's possible he preliminaried this, sent it off, and then they said,
we did
okay,
it.
put it on.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
Well, it's not on Blue Line, is it?
No.
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 that's not. No, it's on a poster board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it might
yeah,
have
it's
been
a
just
gorgeous piece. I got to own it for quite a many years, and now it's going to a new home.
Good.
By the way,
night.
Big Clutch is probably sleeping. He has a real job now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
There
this
we
guy, there's a guy in chat that says that Mark Spears says the new Monsters number 10, 1 in 1,000. I will come to your house and cut your grass and make you dinner and then play Pictionary with you. So you shouldn't have said that, because now we're gonna have to hold you to it, brother.
You'll be at Sean's house.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1,000
Man,
copies,
we
50%
almost
off,
So-
went without having to drink.
$2,000.
Damn it.
So
Yeah, we almost
For-
went it without
Good
having.
yard.
for
Yeah.
1,000 copies, you get Mark Spears at your house drawing pictures that you can then sell as original art by Mark Spears.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I
an
have to
endless
double
loop.
drink.
It's an endless loop of Mark Spears.
Someone literally texted me.
You went through
You
the whole
guys
show
didn't
without
say
saying
Mark
Mark
Spears.
Spears. Yeah.
Damn.
Well, before we call the night, we do got to talk about this. Shout out to Mark. This is a big deal. He's been
very
talking
cool.
about wanting to do this for a long time, and he finally, pulled it off at Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo this year, which is Mark's hometown con. where, you know, he kind of goes all out for that con. He's going to have this available. This is the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo variant of Art the Clown that will be an exclusive cover at the event. And David Howard Thornton and Mark will both be at the con to sign it. So there's only going to be 200 foils and 100 medals at Mark's booth, which is very, very cool. So shout out to Huntsville Comic Expo and all you
Curious
Art the
to find out
Clown
if he had a
fans.
license Art the Clown.
Well, we might have to talk to Mark about that because we know there's all those licensing issues with Art the Clown and everything that's gone on. But
Yeah.
we'll save that for backstage like we always do. What does that mean, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a great show. 4 hours again. You guys know how I always say we're just going to have a quick show tonight, and it turns out into a 4-hour fucking expo. Thank
It's
you
a
so
great
much
show tonight, man.
to Brian Pulido and Nick Barrucci for joining us tonight to talk about Evil Ernie and the new Kickstarter reprinting all the Chaos Comics stuff, which is going to be fucking amazing. Shout out to Filip Sablik for joining us tonight. Shout out to everybody that picked up the Just Brutal limited to 500 cold open variants that Ignition Press made available just for Beyond Wednesday's live viewers, you guys. As of right now, you can't get this book. It is not available until tomorrow night. We'll have a new special link for you on the Wednesday night review show. If you didn't get to pick this one up tonight, make sure you come hang out with us tomorrow night, get the new link, and it'll be available for that show. And we might have more to talk about this. You never know. Shout out to Ignition Press for just rocking with us over at Beyond Wednesdays and doing everything they do. They're amazing. And then finally, I want to give a big fucking shout out to all of you guys in the live chat that support Beyond Wednesdays, everybody that watches us on the replay. Shout out to Music Pub for dropping 50 gifted memberships. Shout out to Igor for donating $100 through a super chat. Shout out to Big Clutch for donating $20 through super chat. Matrix Comics donating $10 through super chat, and Lord Zero donating $50 through super chat. You guys keep this show running, and we love you for it. Thank you so much. See you guys next Tuesday right here on Beyond Wednesdays. Adios.